So T-Bird was redesigned.
Okay.
So we had T-Bird. So just to be before I say what I'm about to say, be very clear. No one has asked me to do a sequel yet. So when I'm talking about sequel stuff, it's like in my head.
Come on, that's my next question, AJ. Come on.
Level 857 Video Game Podcast.
Ah, yes. Whether it's a beer, a shot, or even a glass of wine, grab your favorite beverage and welcome to the Level 857 Video Game Podcast. I'm LG857.
The 23rd Stallion.
Sticks.
Turbo 857.
And your boy Big Chalk. What up?
And tonight's guest is the head of an indie game studio that was given the tall task of reviving a classic and iconic IP for modern audiences, and they have successfully done so with their latest offering, Battletoads 2020 Reboot, available right now for the Xbox One, also Game Pass and PC. Please give it up for, put your hands together, warm round of applause for the CEO of Dlala Studios, AJ Grand-Scrutton. Yes. Welcome.
What's that strain on the voice there?
Yeah, I think he's gonna go wrestle somebody now.
Yeah, I was thinking, man. I was going to play my theme music. I was going to.
Just like every podcast, we talk about the games we've been playing since the last time we were on. So, who would like to continue and share?
Well, what did we play all together this week?
Oh God.
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot about this one, actually. Who would like to say?
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
Who wants to explain this hell?
All right.
Was,
I'll do my best.
Oh, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, so me, Sticks, LG857, and Big Choco were playing Unruly Heroes for the Nintendo Switch 4-player. It's kind of like a, what is it, like a Rayman with a little beat-em-up elements to it.
Yeah.
We were on the last boss, and we thought that our stream would probably be 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And it ended up being 3 hours. It's probably one of the most frustrating bosses I've played in a long time. And it's not even like you're just playing 2 players, because with 2 players, you both have to be on the same page. You have to get all 4 people who are dying constantly to be on the same page. And if someone's starting to waver and be like, nah, we can't do this, then you die again, you die again, you die again.
Oh, dude, it was bad.
But this dude had 3 forms, but we kept dying on the second form over and over. And Sticks, you had to look up the 3rd form.
I just want to make sure.
Just to make sure when we finally get by the second form that this isn't a big deal. Like we can get by the 3rd form on the first shot. And we almost didn't. We actually finally beat that game, but oh my gosh.
That almost broke me, man. I was almost done.
Yeah,
mentally, I was like,
I saw you wavering. I'm like, no, we can't lose you right now, man. I'm like, this is
I don't know, man. Mentally, I was like,
out of control.
That was a rough one.
That was 3 hours.
Yeah. It was a 3-hour boss.
Same boss.
Like a 5-minute boss.
Yeah. When we finally beat him, it took us 7 minutes.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Cuphead so bad.
Oh God.
Oh yes, it was definitely a lot of Cuphead, and the thing that was frustrating the most, which we didn't have a problem until the later stages, was the checkpoints.
Oh yeah, you have to have you have to kill a certain amount of enemies to have the checkpoint activated or something like that.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So they would give you stages where there would be no enemies, and you'd have to. It was like platforming, and then you get to the checkpoint, and you can't activate it because you didn't kill enough enemies.
Yep.
When there was no enemies.
And if you died, you had to start the whole entire thing over, and it
was challenging.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think
torture.
the playtesters did it for players.
No.
I don't think they played it for players at all.
No.
That was definitely meant for a single player experience.
Yeah.
They just kind of threw in the 4-player. Just after
Even
the
2
fact.
players is fun.
Yeah, 2 players probably would have been
4 is
a little easier.
challenging.
That'll be a question I have for you later.
Oh yeah.
Because we kept saying, this is some Battletoads type shit right here. Like, this is some Battletoads shit.
But then it's like, no.
It's a great game, though, and really is a great game. It's a really, really good game. But that boss, oh, man.
That last boss is a little rough. And it's funny because, I can't ruin it.
Well, I'll tell you this. After the boss was done, I didn't care at all about the story.
No, I didn't even care what they were saying.
The story. I'm just happy that it's done.
I was actually mad to the next day.
Yeah.
I was still mad.
Oh, yeah.
About that boss the next day.
Yeah.
And it was over.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. All right.
That was a tough looking boss too.
Man,
I
listen.
was laughing.
And remember how during the credits the heroes were running away, right? I was like, "Yep, exactly how I feel." That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, the lady was like, "Yeah, we got more." Like, nope.
No, we're good.
No,
We're good.
Nope.
No,
We're good.
Done.
It's time to go.
Tough ass boss.
Hell yeah.
AJ, what were you playing this week? Might as well jump into that.
Yeah, sure. So I've been playing a bit of a mixture, really. I've been jumping between my second playthrough of Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh, nice.
I love that
I
game.
did it on Xbox, trying it on Switch at the moment. I'm jumping in and out of Hades, which I've
I
really
heard
been
good
enjoying. And thanks to Xbox Games Pass, me and two of the guys from work have started Destiny 2. And I've never played Destiny at all before. Like, I never played the first or the second. And yeah, I mean, I loved Halo, and right now it just feels like Halo with grinding. So yeah, I can get behind that. So
I like that.
Halo.
Halo with grinding.
No, it's pretty much is that. Yeah.
but yeah, so kind of I've been jumping between those three basically.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I've heard good things about Hades. Everyone keeps saying so many good things about that game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm tempted to play, but then I'm like, the roguelike.
The roguelike gets me
that's-
angry. I've been getting angry in games lately.
Yeah.
I hate roguelikes for what it's worth. Like, I don't play them.
Right.
But I picked this up because I absolutely adore Supergiant, and I was like, oh, you know. And honestly, I hate any game where it's got anything remotely like permadeath. But this game, I'm just happy to just keep going and going and going.
Whoa.
Like, I think the first night I played it, I must have made maybe 17 attempts, so 17 deaths, like back to back. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm the same. Like, I don't like roguelikes, but I'm absolutely loving Hades.
Wow.
It looks good.
Nice.
It definitely looks.
That's kind of like what Wizards of Legends did for me. Like, I still enjoy the game to this day.
It's a great game.
It really is an awesome game. It's just,
You should probably try it.
Wait, 17 deaths. So if you multiply that by like 3, that's how many times you died in Unruly Heroes.
yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, maybe more. Yeah,
Yeah.
very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have a counter. I actually want to know how many times we died.
Dude,
I don't.
That's 3 hours of footage. That I have to edit.
I was thinking about playing Ori again on the Switch because on the Xbox it was a little bit glitchy. So I wondered if they polished it up a little more. It wasn't like bad glitches, but you can tell it wasn't quite as polished as the first Ori. But it was still great game.
Yeah, first time I tried Will of the Wisps on Xbox One X, it didn't perform great, and then I came back to it. I mean, I came back to it just after we submitted Battletoads, so it would have just been early August, and it felt like they basically fixed a load of the glitches. Like, it felt like they patched it. But yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not obsessed with frame rate and things like that, but like, I know on Switch it's running at 60 frames per second, and it looks incredible. Like, so the fact that they've done that on the Switch, I'm assuming they did a lot of optimization before they did it.
Yeah. All right. I can always dope. I can't get enough of that game.
It looks
It's a beautiful game.
It looks really good.
I hear good things
Yeah.
about it.
But it was more of the same though. The part 2 was more of the same.
Okay.
But it had
But
some
if
cool
it-
weapons.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Nah, they did a good job. Good job.
For real.
Who else is playing?
I didn't play much this week. I only played Gears 5 and my friend Pedro. And
Beat that yet?
the end of the game was absolutely bananas. Pun absolutely intended.
Yeah,
I'm just leave it at
yes,
that.
yes.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right.
But it's a super
Yeah.
fun game. I would play through it again. I just want to see if I could beat all my friends' scores now.
You know that was originally a Flash game?
Yeah.
And it evolved into what it is.
My friend Pedro?
It's crazy.
It
Really?
was on.
Yeah.
That's a great
It was
game.
like made by Adult Swim or something like that, or
It came a
like that.
long
I
way.
can't remember.
I
It
wouldn't
did
be
come a long
surprised.
way.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's right up their alley.
That storyline is insane.
Hilarious.
But
Bonkers.
It's freaking great. It's funny, man.
Katana Zero is next for you. Trust me.
Oh, yes.
Katana Zero.
Highly recommended,
Zero.
man.
Okay.
Katana Zero.
Do it. It's only a 4-hour game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can knock it out.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nah,
That's it, right? Well, I'm only playing one thing also, man. And I was on my Tetris Tuesday stream yesterday. Puzzled. It's SNK's answer to Tetris. It's their version of Tetris.
I liked watching that.
So it's a Tetris, or classic Tetris with a little twist where you have a boy in a well who's in a balloon. He's trying to float up.
Oh, you mean a boy in a bubble?
And yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough game.
It looks like Tetris
tough.
with a story mode.
Yeah.
There was a
Yep.
story,
Yep.
but the thing is tough. It was tough.
Well, you got to play it totally different than regular Tetris.
It's not.
And I could see it that you were still doing some Tetris stuff, and I was like,
And I tried not to.
I know how to do this.
Yeah.
You got to do some maneuvers.
Well,
It would probably work for me better than him because he's playing Tetris style.
Well, the controls,
exactly.
and I suck at Tetris.
the controls were a little bit different than Tetris, like as far as like the turning.
yeah.
Because I already know from playing regular classic Tetris, when you
They don't
press
give
the
you a lot
button,
of
it
time.
turns. Yeah, it doesn't give you that much time, and the thing speeds up fast. Like
it's fast.
it gets
It's
fast.
You have
It's
to
like,
get rid of certain things way before that. or
yeah,
you're done.
but it really like the title, of the game. It really is like a puzzle that you have to figure out, and
Did it
once you
leave you
figure it
puzzled?
out, huh?
It left you puzzled.
Well,
Let's go, Joe.
the other thing that I discovered while playing was the power up that they give you also that you built up over time, and you can keep even after you die. So that was it was interesting, man.
It's
It was
like
a cool game.
roguelike Tetris.
That roguelike-
Oh, dude.
jeez.
Oh, dude, a roguelike Tetris.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it though. It was there was some frustrating parts of it, but ultimately I did like it.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
Anything else you got?
that's it, man.
I can go into mine.
Yeah.
So I only played my Throwback Thursday, which was it Gunstar Heroes.
Gunstar.
Heroes.
That was
Yes.
fun, man.
Yeah, I was watching some of that
Me and
stream.
Star played. Yeah.
That was
That
fun.
was supremely entertaining.
I love Gunstar
Especially,
Heroes, man.
I forgot what stage it was, but it was the stage where you had to throw the dice.
The dice.
Oh, we were struggling. Fucking
saw
curry
that.
dude with the little
Yeah, the kicks. I
Oh.
was like, oh man.
that cheap son
I'm
of
down
a.
to 2 energies and just failed miserably, and that was the end of that level.
Oh my god.
But that game is
What a game.
It's a true classic. It's a true classic.
it
The
aged
show
fine.
is fine. Yeah.
The music, the action, I love it. It's such an awesome. I wish they had a really good sequel that came out.
It's one of the best, one of the better multiplayers.
We had it on our news. Not well. It was a while ago, but I remember we
Games that
had
deserve a sequel. Yeah, they had one, but it was not.
Right, Game Boy
It
Advance.
was more like a remake,
Yeah.
but a one player remake.
Yeah.
right.
Look good though.
You guys should play Garden Heroes next.
Actually, I
I saw
mentioned-
you in it.
I mentioned Batman and Robin for Genesis. I mentioned.
Jeez, why are you trying to touch
Good
it?
game.
Wait,
It's a
like
hard
the-
ass game.
based off of the animated series?
Yeah,
Yeah, Gunstar Heroes was the
Yo,
type
Yo,
of game.
that game was so good.
That was
That
awesome.
was-
And you never played it.
That was Treasure too, right?
Probably.
I don't know,
I don't
but
know.
it
think it
felt
was.
like
I don't know, but that game was
It was so
fire.
good.
The game is
I
definitely a
don't think I
treasure.
played that either.
So good.
Game is a
Genesis,
treasure.
right?
Definitely a
That was
treasure.
Genesis.
Genesis. Yep. Genesis.
It's awesome game.
I don't
Awesome
think I
game.
played
I will
that.
get down on that.
Only 4 stages, but it was good.
Really?
It was like 4. It was
Oh.
Well, 4 main big, yeah.
Wow, 4 stages.
4 bosses. It was 4 bosses. It was, but they
But
were
it's still
like
good.
No, that
they're
game was
mini
so good.
sections
great.
before you get to it.
I have,
So
I have a lot of
Yeah.
pleasant memories with that game.
Great game.
awesome game. Awesome game. One of the best Genesis co-ops. Oh, what I play? The Walking Dead final season. I beat episode 2.
Oh, really?
Oh, look at you.
Finally.
Yeah. So I got 2 episodes left. I like that story, man.
You know when
I
that came out?
no,
I posted those like a decade ago.
Damn.
the kid's name is AJ, right?
yes.
Yeah, AJ. He's becoming hardened. You know, I'm teaching him to curse and stuff like that. It's really good.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a very ruthless person.
It's a good parent.
As a dad, you can say that.
I'm looking forward to torturing the guy. I'm going to be torturing the guy. The next episode, in the beginning of that, I'm going to get a lot out of him. You know, and if he dies,
spoiled the
Yeah,
whole
yo,
thing.
dude, it's mad spoiler.
you don't know the guy I'm torturing though. You don't know who it is.
Oh, jeez.
You know, Clementine could be torturing a bunch of dudes, but this particular, I'm looking forward to torturing this guy. He's gonna get it. He might die during interrogation.
Oh, my
but
God.
I'm gonna get out of him.
All right, what else are you
Well, hurry up
playing?
and see it.
What else are you psycho?
Wow.
All right, now
Damn psycho.
Shenmue 3, Shenmue 2. I gotta find this old guy in the field.
Wait, you're still playing that game?
Shenmue 3, yeah, still playing that.
You
Yeah.
said, yeah, we said Shenmue 3, Shenmue 2.
Shenmue 3. No,
Which
yeah.
one are you playing?
Shenmue
the same
3.
game. It's the same game.
It's the same.
You gotta find an old. I'm chopping a lot of wood. You know, that's a lot of that's a job I do for money. I chop a lot of wood, buy vegetables to stay alive and stuff.
That's the worst description of a game ever. Chopping wood, eating vegetables to stay alive. What game is this?
I also
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, you're playing Stardew.
Yeah.
I fight dudes in the dojo too. It's like it's really good training in that game.
I'm
I'm
glad
having a
you're
good time.
getting something out of it.
I fought and I played Smash Brothers. I fought every guy with Steve yesterday. And he was an intimidating character at first to fight against. I didn't know what the hell he was doing.
He's so random.
He was going in a box. He was getting a pickaxe. He was getting a sword and stuff. But then after a while, I was just aggressive with him. And I was just, even when you hit him, he doesn't look like he's been hit.
No, he doesn't. He just
moves
flashes.
back.
Yeah, he just
And
flashes.
when he dodges, he walks through you. So it looks like he breaks the game, like it's broken.
It messes with his
messes with your head.
Dude,
messes with me.
I was watching you play earlier today.
His little
and
stick legs
I
moving
could,
like
I could not stop
His
laughing,
jump is
man.
so small. He has a small jump, so he has like he has a really annoying forward jump attack, you know.
Yeah,
but I just started killing him after a while. I was like, you know what? Fuck this dude, and I was just like, I was just killing him after that, like killing
They
him
don't know how
foul.
to cheat just yet.
I was shooting him in the mouth with Samus. He was eating plasma. It was great. I was having a great time with it. But yeah, that was what I was playing. Oh no, in Mortal Kombat 11, because I'm training for Joe from Media Glitch. We're gonna get it on. We're gonna get it on.
You say Joe or Joe?
Joe's gonna whip your ass.
Joel. Joe. No, I said Joel, yeah. I said, rewind the tape. Joel, I'm serious.
What tape?
I'm taking him down.
What tape?
Taking it down. It's going to be Scorpion and Raiden all day.
Joel.
Fire and lightning.
All right, you
Fire
done?
and lightning.
Are you done?
I'm done. I'm
You
done.
Oh, boy.
I'm
Okay,
done.
I should hope
Fire
so.
and lightning.
He's gonna whip your ass.
All right. I'm not playing much. I stopped after the Jedi game. I did a first impressions with G.I. Joe Operation Blackout.
That's right.
Yo, Joe.
Good game. Very cool. I played a bunch of other stages by myself. It's kind of like a very old school, like the blueprint for third-person shooters, pretty much.
Yeah,
You know,
can
it's
tell
like-
it's like almost like a retro title.
Yeah, it's very, very
Really?
retro, but it's since it has so much of the old cartoon nostalgia in there. Even the Cobra Commander voice is dope.
Yeah,
They did
you have to have nostalgia for it though.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
appreciate it like we do.
Yeah. If you don't know G.I. Joe, you probably won't like the game.
Oh no.
You're probably like, what is this crap?
It's not
I
as
can't
good
even
as
do this.
Gears 5.
No, Gears 5 has it down. They have the cover system.
Not,
they have
not anything like
it's
Gears 5.
tighter, and it's messed up too. Because as I'm playing it, I'm like, if they do a sequel, these are easy changes. Cover system, you could do this, do that, targeting on the melee and stuff like that, and it'll be tremendous. But as a first, hopefully of more, it's good. It's fun. Me and Jay were having fun with it.
War of Cybertron. You think it's as good as War of Cybertron?
Cybertron's better because it's more clean.
Yeah.
It's
That's
more
like
clean, but
in
it's
the
very
right-
close to
in
it,
the
though.
right generation.
Because there's no cover system. That's why. But both of them need a cover system. I think every third-person shooter needs a damn cover system. But it was good. We had a good time. Look forward to doing the walkthrough with Turbo.
That's right.
Other than that, I played a little Smash Brothers today before we went on to fight a bunch of Steves.
Steve.
Oh my God, man! I have such a hatred for this character. I hate him so much because just looking at all the cool designs of the other characters, and he looks like a block of garbage. And he just comes out as stupid like this, and it's just like, no, you can't, you shouldn't win
Dude,
ever.
The jump animation is so
It's just
funny,
like-
dude. It's
it's
just the
just
scissors.
gets me
Picture a
so-
pair of scissors opening and closing. That's his jump. I'm like, what the?
And it's worse.
funny, man.
I catch myself getting so angry while playing against him. Even if I'm winning, I'm getting angry just looking at him.
Yeah.
And then eventually I lose because he's doing something I've never seen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to calm down when I play against this guy. Like, I really do. But killing him feels so good. I hate like a lot of characters in that game, but putting a sword through him feels amazing.
good, right?
It's I love it.
I want to make sure that he doesn't win because his victory thing, he looks like he's got an erection. So it's like I want to make sure I kill him.
That was an article. There was an article on Kotaku because he's eating the steak. He eats the steak in the victory pose, and he puts it right by his crotch. And I'm like, oh, that looks bad, dude. That looks bad.
How did that get through?
Yeah, I guarantee they're gonna change that. I guarantee it's gonna be like in his other hand because people are gonna say so much stuff like, why? I can't even go on.
How'd they get that? How'd they get past the?
I don't know. You would think
Cute,
that
man.
He gets very happy.
he gets very happy at the end when he wins. I don't know.
I totally forgot a game that I played.
Oh,
Soul Calibur for Fighter Fridays.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Soul
that's
Calibur
right.
6.
I watched that.
Yeah, I was putting on a little bit of a clinic with Khalik,
I don't
and
know.
then
about that.
everything
No,
went. Bro,
No, you did.
stop
You did.
it.
No, Khalik was
Stop it.
He's
Khalik
hating.
was-
He's
You should
hating.
have stuck with Khalik.
I should have stuck with Khalik.
I watched for a little bit. I didn't see you lose once.
I
Khalik was
lost.
whipping that. He's whipping
I
that.
think I went 9 straight with Khalik,
Probably, yeah.
and then it all went downhill from there.
then you switch. Then you
I went to
switch.
Mitsurugi, beat down. I went to Sungmina. I put up a hell of a fight, but
Mina's
lost.
my girl.
What about Max?
Maxie. Actually, I beat a couple people with Maxie.
You did
That was
better
my
with
favorite
Sumina.
character.
Soul Calibur's awesome.
I did-
Soul
you
You
Calibur's
did better
did
with Sumina.
Than Maxie?
Yeah,
Dope.
you did like the first 2 fights with Maxie, then you got destroyed.
Yeah,
after you
you're
said
right,
he was
you're right.
top tier, you
You're
got destroyed.
No, he said Maxie wasn't top tier.
no, after you said he was, he was like, no,
Like,
no,
I feel like he
you're
might be
wrong.
a top tier character. No, he's not.
She got taken out, right?
Beatings.
But you did
Correction.
fight some cheesy guys at the end.
Yeah,
Who
yeah. I
weren't
mean,
really fighting; they just throwing you out the ring.
I didn't learn all. I didn't go back and learn all the new mechanics.
Well, they were playing the new one. You were playing the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I would have did.
But still,
It's like Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah,
It's like Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat 2.
You play a certain way, but then they come out with some bull, and it's like,
yeah, because
stop,
that
stop
one dude
doing-
that one dude that was talking junk to me. Like,
He said, "What's your McDonald's connection?"
If you want to be entertained for
McDonald's
one match, watch that match and watch how angry you
Chopper's
get at this
getting mad.
guy.
Chopper's getting
dude.
mad. He
For
was getting
hearing
mad.
this
yo, because he
voice.
wasn't even that good. He wasn't even that good.
You have the best meltdowns.
No,
of
when
all-
Choke gets mad in the game, it's amazing.
No, it's
so
funny
funny,
because
isn't
it's like anyone who knows me knows like I'm the nicest, like calmest, quietest person. But
Oh, that's why it's
you piss
amazing.
me off in a game, I turn into hell.
Oh, yeah. And it breaks down. He breaks
Yes,
down.
yes.
Everything breaks down.
Complete meltdown.
All he had to hear was this guy's voice, and it threw him off completely.
I was so mad, so mad.
McDonald's
That's hilarious. McDonald's.
I would have to mute him or something. I'm like, no, I can't hear you. No, I don't want to listen to
Just
you.
served him up a Happy Meal.
It was coming
like-
through the TV, so I couldn't.
Trash ass.
Oh, yeah.
It took him 5 rounds to beat me talking about trash. Like, yo, you're not good, bro. Like,
He's
chill.
trolling, man. He's trolling.
Serious.
But anyways,
That's everybody,
moving
right?
on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's move on to the news.
Yeah.
The nudes.
Check out the
No, that's done. That's done.
There was no bass in that.
No, there was nothing there.
was-
No,
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, stop it.
Oh, boy.
So,
Our apologies.
We have a guest.
Jingles are fantastic. I didn't realize. I feel like I'm underdressed now, to be honest.
so let's move on to the news, shall we?
Our production.
We're out of control.
Sega's next micro console could be the Dreamcast Mini, but don't expect it soon.
Damn.
Yeah.
So let me get these names straight here because you know how I am.
Yes.
Yusaki?
I thought you were telling me. I thought you were saying I suck.
Yosuke Okunari. Yosuke Okunari. The Sega staffer who has been heavily involved in many of the company's recent retro ventures. See, I can read, y'all. Just not the names. Including Sega Aegis line and Mini Drive. Okay,
Many drives.
You can read.
I can.
Read.
Do you need help?
Mega Drive Mini. See, it's a lot of. It's
Sound it out. Sound it out.
He has hinted that the company may tackle a Dreamcast Mini in the near future. So, and actually, where did I get this news from? It is from NintendoLife.com. All right. So, speaking to Famitsu in an interview translated by Nintendo Life contributor Robert
Robert T. Sturgeon.
Robert T. Sturgeon, yes.
Why is that name popping up again this week? That's the
Always,
second
man.
time this week.
Always. He always finds a way to the pocket.
Robert Sefazan. Okay. Akinari says, next we're considering concepts similar to the Mega Drive Mini. If I had to name some ideas, something like a SG-1000 Mini or a Dreamcast Mini. So I'm really hoping, Sega, don't do this. So do not do the SG-1000, please. Please. At least do a Mark III or like just do a Master System if you're going to do that. But it's the same as the Game Gear. So
Yeah.
please don't do a SG-1000. There's nothing. There's like 2 games on that. Why would you do that?
Saturn. Do a Saturn.
At least a
Well,
Saturn.
yeah,
But listen, we said before this was even said, I said that the Dreamcast Mini was definitely feasible to do because of how flawless that emulation is on every Snapdragon thing on here. Like every phone can do Dreamcast phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
And Saturn is up there pretty much if you pick the right emulator. It's getting there. It can play decently enough.
I would get a Saturn Mini.
But as far as them, like we already said, Dreamcast was a go, and that could be done now. But he says maybe after the SG-1000. I swear, please.
Well, Sega's been used to disappointing
I
people.
know.
They're on a streak of disappointments lately, and they're
That's why I
pissing me
totally
off.
don't want to even hear that name. Maybe in Europe. I mean, was SG-1000 big over there?
No, not at all. I don't even know if it got a full commercial release over here. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Please don't bring that out.
Yeah.
I think they think the Dreamcast was such a failure that they don't want to do it right now. It's so good.
Nah,
It
Dreamcast
is.
awesome.
What's your take on the Dreamcast? And do you want to see a Dreamcast Mini, AJ?
Yeah, 100%. I think what would be funny is I bet you that the Dreamcast Mini would probably ship more units than the Dreamcast did. They'd probably be sitting there going, should we get back in the console game? I mean, I think it'd be fantastic. I think all these minis are really great. You know, more than anything, because it means we suddenly get a legitimate way to play the games rather than playing them for emulation. I think kind of what's interesting is, like, I guess when they moved to Dreamcast, they started branching out to a lot more than just Sega published stuff. So I guess it's now like, you know, I think they're going to have Crazy Taxi straight off the bat was theirs.
It'd have to.
But I mean, expectation for me would be, you know, at a minimum, Jet Set, Shenmue, Power Stone.
Yes.
I mean, First Soul Calibur, like.
Right.
And I think that's probably what their worry is, right? Like, how many of those are they going to have to try and renegotiate licensing deals for to actually be able to get the roster of games that we're going to want for it? But yeah, I mean, I think I'd love it. Like, I've got Dreamcast games at home and no Dreamcast because I saw a really good offer on like Power Stone and there's a couple of others, and I picked them up, and I was like, I'll get a Dreamcast one day, and that was like 6 years ago.
They're probably all Capcom games.
Yeah.
My Dreamcast still works, thank goodness.
Every Dreamcast I've ever seen still works.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
Oh man, like such that, like, you know, it's
Ahead of its
we
time.
could talk for hours about why it failed and stuff, but you know, the one reason it didn't fail was quality. Like, it was a quality build, it was quality lineup. I mean, even kind of the VMA memory card stuff, like, was fantastic. Like, you know, the controllers were brilliant. Like, the controllers in terms of like shape were ahead of its time. But yeah, like, it's just a shame it didn't do anything really. Like, it's a shame that it came out and competed with what it was competing with without the real marketing support. But I'd love to see the Mini. Like, I'd love to.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see what they would probably come out with on it, just look at the mobile, what they put out on mobile.
Yeah.
Like, they put out Crazy Taxi. They put out like all those titles.
I remember they had one of the best launch dates.
They put out Jet Grind on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they did have. They still have one of the best ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the was a genius, like, awesome launch lineup too. I remember getting that at launch. It
They
was
won't
awesome.
have football on there though.
Oh, Blitz.
No, they will
won't
not.
They won't have 2K on there.
That's right.
Yeah, but I remember playing NFL 2K when it first came out. Like,
That was fire.
That was a
Yeah,
great
it was
series.
amazing.
That
It was
was a
fire.
great
I
series.
I was like, yo, this game is real.
I put
this is
in
Monday Night
my 56K modem. Actually, it might have been like a 28 or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, it was
And I-
56.
And I tried it, and I was like, "Oh, it went online. It did. It did go online.
You know,
I had like a free month."
I still have
Yeah.
I still have that CD that it came with, the web browser CD.
Yeah.
Still in the shrink wrap,
See if it works.
unopened. No,
See
I'm
if
not
it
opening,
works.
man.
See if it works.
Open it. Do it live.
No, man.
Do it now.
What's
No, let's see how much it's worth.
Was
now.
Cannon Spike Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Cannon Spike was Dreamcast. Zombie Revenge? Is that Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Oh, dude.
Die Hard Arcade.
Oh, that was. I was
that-
trying to figure it out if that was Saturn or
Nah, it was on there.
Oh shit.
Yes.
No, Marvel vs. Capcom
Was it
2.
Saturn?
Yeah, that was.
Wait, I
Dreamcast.
think
That
Die Hard
Dreamcast.
was
Die Hard
Dreamcast.
was Saturn.
Wait,
Really?
what about Dynamite Deca?
Oh, hold on. Dynamite Deca.
That was
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast.
Die Hard Saturn.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Same game.
What the dude look like Seinfeld? Yeah, the game looked like Seinfeld. Doing
am I
wrestling
gonna
moves.
do about all these terrorists?
Where's the girl? She's right there.
Code Veronica, that's Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Original. Called Veronica. Oh, dude, they have to have that. They have to.
Choo Choo Rocket was another one. Choo Choo
Choo
Rocket.
Choo Choo Rocket.
Yes.
Yeah. Monkey
Ready to
Ball.
Ready to
That'd be cool
Rumble,
have
right?
one.
Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Ready to Rumble
Monkey
2.
Ball?
1 and 2.
Sonic Adventure.
Sonic Adventure,
Sonic Adventure was fire.
Sonic Adventure.
And Sonic Adventure 2 was fire,
Fire
too.
too. Yeah.
Probably that's all the stuff they have on there, man.
That's a good lineup, man.
Oh, Grandia.
That's not gonna make it though. You know what would make it.
Wait,
It's not.
two
Grandia
two wasn't Saturn?
No, 1 was Saturn, 2 was Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Dreamcast was
Grandia.
Skies of Arcadia.
Because you
Dreamcast.
had Skies of Arcadia. I remember I had
Skies
the,
of Arcadia.
Those 2
which I never
years
played.
when those systems came out meshed well together.
You know what's funny? Every time we talk about one of these old Sega systems, I get so sad.
Because
Like, there's so
you
many-
think of the Game Mini.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sega should do a Saturn and Dreamcast mashup mini.
Yeah,
You
why
know,
not, man?
They should put them both together. That'd be awesome.
Oh, they had Project Justice. That was another Capcom fighting game.
Yes.
The high
You
school
can
students.
make a Capcom system with Dreamcast.
You can.
You can just make a Capcom system.
Just listen to this
Called
podcast.
Capcast.
and make-
Capcast.
Stop it.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Stop it.
Capcom already made
Dreamcom.
an arcade. No, stop
Stop
it.
it.
They already made a Capcom arcade stick thing
Yeah, that's true.
out of the word. It was very weird.
Oh, dude, out of the logo.
yeah, it was really
awkward
weird
looking.
looking.
What was the thing Sega did also after the mini game Game Gear? It was like the arcades.
They did arcade.
Yeah.
little-
Was it
little
Astro?
Mini arcade.
What the hell they call it? I forgot the name.
I
of it.
forgot the name.
Yeah.
It was green and white and whatnot.
But people were more excited about that than the
because that games on it that you could play.
the mini thing you can't even see anything on.
Keychain.
Smaller than
apparently
the
you
Apple
can
Watch.
see. Apparently you can see, but it's really not something that they should have done
The Tamagotchi.
for money for $50. But Sega, listen to us. Don't do the SG-1000, please.
listen.
Just do the Dreamcast. Do it next year. Do it this Christmas. Fine, just do it.
Oh, yes.
That's all we want to do.
They're deaf, man. They can't.
Give us
they
a
can't hear.
How about a Dreamcast 2? Just solve all the problems.
Oh,
No, man. No.
Fully backwards compatible. Could
Boom.
you imagine?
Done. Do it, man. Do it.
sold out. Sold out.
Absolutely.
We'll
Because I
see.
still have my entire library.
Yeah. Oh damn, you do?
Yeah. I don't.
Oh, yeah, put C-Man on there. on the mini. On the
Well, you
mini.
got to get the
With
microphone with the.
I want to see that on there. Do something different.
That damn game.
man.
You have
What
to
a
say it
weird-
correctly. Don't say it wrong.
I said
C-Man.
I didn't say
Yes,
anything.
it's the C-Man.
C-Man.
See, man.
Okay, on to the next one.
Yes. Oh, dear. Let's move. Let's move.
And that's how we end. That's how we end that one.
All right. Mortal Kombat 11. Oh, hold on. Mortal Kombat 11 adds Rambo as DLC in their PS5 and Xbox Series X and S game.
I honestly want a new Rambo game, dude.
Don't forget
Yeah.
Melina and Rain. Melina Rain.
I know, but
No, but this is what
Rambo's
we're
the
talking
standard. I mean,
Rambo is the guy who you don't think is going to be in Mortal
exactly.
Kombat.
Yeah.
You expect Melina, you expect Rain, but you see Rambo like,
This is the news here.
and you know you're gonna see exploding arrows,
Yes.
Oh, he's going to be so
that
vicious.
crazy
The
knife.
He's got to stab him
Knife.
in the neck.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
That's how he
That's
revives.
a heavy machine gun.
It's going to be a fatality.
That's Rocky.
Well, the light machine gun. He's getting, it's gonna be crazy.
Actually, to Kev's defense, in the trailer, he did do
Oh, he
that.
did.
Yeah.
He did do that.
In the graphic right
Yeah,
he was doing it.
with the jaw and everything. You know?
and I'm glad they got Stallone to do the voice.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
man.
yes.
Yeah, man. Stallone's
awesome.
old, man. He's got to do all this stuff. It's great.
I heard
Yeah.
the last what was it? There was a Rambo game came out on PC. It did terrible.
Was it like a first person?
That was when it came out recent.
Yeah.
It wasn't good at all.
First
It was
person,
terrible.
right?
It did
Yeah.
terrible.
You gotta do that third, man. Do that third
Rambo,
person.
Rambo for the Master System
was it third?
and the Genesis was great.
I don't remember
think
if
it
it
might have
was.
Genesis was
been
dope.
third.
Yeah, Genesis had a dope one.
and Sega Master System. That was a
That
great
was fun.
game.
Yeah,
That was-
for the time.
yes.
But-
I
remember
carry
those.
Warriors to play.
Mortal Kombat recently has been putting in all these movie characters.
It's funny. It's really hilarious.
In Mortal Kombat 10, they had the horror mode of going. Like,
Yeah.
motif. They had
No, you're right.
they
Myers.
had Mike. What they had?
Freddy.
Michael
They
Myers,
had Freddy, they had
Krueger.
Jason,
Krueger,
Aliens, Predator,
Predator.
Yep.
bunch of that. Whoever
Predator
else.
was in there.
Yeah, that's a cool showdown.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't think that would be. I mean,
But
yeah,
this-
the killers. So it's a Mortal Kombat. You can do fatalities.
And
so it's
11
fine.
is action movies.
11 seems to be action.
Terminator.
RoboCop. And
Terminator.
Spawn's kind of random.
Spawn.
A superhero in there. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
and,
it's randomly
and
thro-
Joker's in there too.
That's true.
And Joker,
for
yeah,
what reason?
Joker's in there.
Keep forgetting Joker's in there. Damn.
But I mean, if you want to ever, I know I want to see this online. I want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Stallone.
Rambo.
I want to see them play their characters live on a showdown in the game.
That would be sick.
I really just want to see that.
You could probably find it now.
I'm sure they have
Someone-
Because they
that.
someone-
still listen. They still have a rivalry. Because he was like, "Oh, you want to talk about me in this movie? And you put me in the worst movie." Like this was this week.
Are you serious?
Stallone
Wait,
was
this
talking
is
about. Yeah, Stallone was talking about how Arnold tricked him into doing the worst movie, like Throw Mama Off the Train or whatever.
wow.
And he's like, "I'm a writer. You're not a writer."
Oh,
So I wrote a sequel. And he named it something stupid. Like I was like, "What is
So
this
they're-
feud
They,
still?"
they
These
beef.
guys are having beef.
It's a friendly rivalry. 'Cause
Oh, I know
remember-
it is. It
Well,
is.
I remember they both had surgery
Yeah.
on the same day, and
Really?
they ended up in the same hospital next to each other.
Oh, you can't
and they were
write shit
talking
like-
shit until they got out.
Those are such meatheads. It's so good.
Yeah, man.
I would love to see that. Just put that together. Before
Put them in the
anything
same
happens.
room.
They're- like I said, they're
Hospital
old. Let's put that together now.
Hell yeah.
Let's see that.
That's great.
Absolutely.
And of course, there are other DLC characters which are cool, but Melina looks silly. But we don't want to talk about them. We want to talk about Rambo here.
Rambo.
So, what do you think of having Rambo in here with these showdowns you could do with RoboCop and the T-1000?
I mean, I think I was sold as soon as I read that Sly did the lines. To be honest, like any excuse I get to just hear Sly go, "You have no." I mean, like 100%. Yeah, no, I think it's wicked. That's like you said. I really like this whole action star motif they're going for with this. And what's good about Mortal Kombat, at least the last kind of few iterations, is they've really started taking themselves like less and less serious, but in more brutal ways.
Except for those fatalities.
I mean, I can't wait to see who's next from the action film lineup. Maybe we'll get Slimer from Ghostbusters. Like,
That's a good one.
They got to get Steven Seagal and Van Damme though.
No, they got to get Van Damme.
Oh no,
Dude,
Why they wanted him so bad for Johnny Cage,
yeah.
and they never got him.
what about Steven Seagal?
Stop.
Fat Steven Seagal.
He has to be out of shape. Steven
Yeah, it has to
Seagal.
be Fat Steven
Fat
Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Fat Steven Seagal.
Because he swears he can still do it.
Or hold on, out of left field, it could be Vin Diesel as Riddick.
No, I don't want him in
Nah,
there.
you don't
Like,
belong
get Vin
in that.
Diesel out of here.
Yeah.
We don't want him up
Yo,
there.
don't hate. Why you hating on Vin Diesel?
Yeah, I'm out of here. Get Vin
It's
Diesel
about
out of here.
family.
No, get him out
Dude, do you remember when Mortal Kombat, the rumor was that they started online with Shaggy?
Oh,
God.
Yeah,
Scooby-Doo.
that would never happen. Well, actually, they did almost make it happen.
No, I thought another joke that they started was that they wanted Shaggy to be in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh my!
Terrible.
Like, and they have artwork as him as a god of destruction. It looks hilarious.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And Scooby looks like Beerus.
They gotta chill. They gotta chill out.
Yeah, but they got a sense of humor if they do that.
I really wish that Midway, does Midway still make Mortal
I
Kombat?
have no idea.
I don't remember.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah, I don't think
Another
it's
round
Midway.
two. Midway's
I
done,
really
right?
did.
They've been done.
I haven't heard the name Midway in a long time,
me neither.
and it makes me think: are they still doing
No,
it?
they're not.
I really don't know.
Last thing they made was a portable Miss Pac-Man, and that was it.
Yeah, he's actually way better, so I'm assuming they're not with this anymore. But I want to see a story mode, a DLC story mode with all of these guys from Hollywood
Just
in
them.
the story.
Just
Yes,
them. Just them. Yes.
I want to see a story mode with them. That'll make it worthwhile.
Yes.
To have them all in the
funny.
same thing.
I'd be fire.
Murphy.
Drop it. Drop it.
Let me fight Ed 209, man.
maybe what they're building us up for is they're going to announce a new Mortal Kombat film starring all of the old action stars. Taking part
Yes.
in Mortal Kombat.
Eric, watch your beer.
Yes, I would love to see that. Or just have them make a game like they did the Marvel, not Marvel, the DC superheroes.
Oh, like
The DC versus Mortal Kombat.
Justice League.
yeah, okay.
No, DC versus Mortal Kombat.
Oh, DC versus Mortal Kombat.
But
Oh, wow.
just
I
make
forgot
it,
about that.
just make it just the Hollywood. All those characters.
That'll be cool.
Wow.
Just do it like that.
Interesting.
And a story mode.
It's amazing how they've kept this franchise going, man.
Yeah.
11.
Nuts. 11.
11.
11.
It's a lot.
And the
I like
story's
how
good.
they can count past two.
Yeah. Street Fighter be having issues with that.
Well, they do an
Fighter.
ultimate and then they move on. So it's really like number 22 or something.
Yeah, but still, they're better than the Street Fighter. I mean, with counting anyway.
No.
Yeah.
I prefer Street Fighter, but I'm down to go back to Mortal Kombat.
After this, yeah.
11's awesome. 11 is awesome, I must say. Great game.
All right. So now we got to the Nintendo news. Nintendo is cutting the Switch Joy. Damn it. All right.
Oh my God.
You okay?
Yo, you almost made me
Are you
choke.
okay?
He said the Switch. Damn it.
Damn it.
Nintendo is cutting the Switch Joy-Con price in Japan.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Hopefully
Oh,
the-
just Japan.
Yes, right now.
Dude, it should be
As of now.
$2 worldwide.
It should be free.
They should give them out free.
Yeah.
They should be return these now.
Yeah. You buy the Switch, you get the Joy-Cons.
Well, we all know, we all know the Joy-Cons problems. They have drift problems, all of them. And if you didn't have it, you're lucky. Don't say, "Oh, I got a good one." No, they're all bad. just wait.
It's a matter
Yeah, I
of
don't
time.
think there's a good one.
No.
There's a matter of time.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah,
matter
it's
of
a
time.
matter of time.
They're probably just not durable.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know they have a class action lawsuit against them.
Several.
They're gonna lose they're gonna lose a bit of money on this.
I should
And
join in
so-
on that.
I don't, yeah, you get like $5. There's a lot of people in on this.
Like $5.
Yeah, they lose $10 million, you're getting $5 of it. But yeah, like recently, well, you know, they stopped selling certain colors. They discontinued some. So we were like, wonder why that happened. And now with them releasing, like, this is Nintendo. They don't reduce price on anything ever. So it went from, what was it, like 40? Let me see the price if it's on here. $43 to $36. I mean, it's not the biggest cut.
Oh, that's crap.
But this is Nintendo. They don't do that. They don't do it. So it's like, are they doing this because they have a new iteration of the Joy-Con coming out?
Hopefully.
That fixes that, for their new system or whatever. That can be used on the old one, maybe. That has a different analog.
That's hopeful.
Maybe. Or they're just trying to get rid of all these crap ones.
Probably get rid of all the crap ones.
Because they're not going to have nothing to do with it if they ever do have
That's what it smells like to me.
But they should drop that price if they're trying to get all of it. Like 36 is still pricey for something that's going to eventually.
They don't do that.
Try and buy a GameCube Wavebird or anything now. They don't drop the price. They don't.
But those
drop
are things
the
that
price.
actually work.
And
You would think like something that doesn't work, you would drop the price.
Yeah,
They don't want
Joy-Con
the-
you can pretty much hang in your car as an ornament.
Yeah,
They don't want to let you know that they don't work.
it's like we all know. Everyone knows it doesn't work.
I'll tell you what they should do. They should talk with Sega. They should put the Game Gear Mini screen and each of the Joy-Cons and cut a deal to get rid of these things.
Get rid of them all.
You know, some
that's
hacker's
how
gonna
you
do
do
that
it.
shit.
That's how they should do it.
Somebody's gonna mod that, and it'll be on the. Give me your broken Joy-Cons.
Dude, I don't even want to send the 2 Joy-Cons that I have away because they're gonna send it, but they gotta fix them for like a week or 2.
Yeah.
It'll be okay, and then it's gonna fuck up again.
That'd be good for a month.
I'm gonna bring my pressurized air so you can
Dude,
blow it
you
in.
know damn well that does
that's
not
the,
work.
That's the secret. That's the secret.
That is not
You
gonna
solves
work.
the problem.
It's fixed mine, and it hasn't messed up since then.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
did you stomp on it a few times?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
no,
that's it.
Dude, listen.
AJ, have you had any problems with the Joy-Cons over there?
No, so well, I mean, I think over here in general we have. Like, I haven't personally, but I don't use mine with the Joy-Cons. I got one of those. You know, it looks like they've cut an Xbox controller in half. Like that's what I've
the
got.
Hori
Which-
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
one of those
I have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've got fat hands and fat thumbs, so like the Joy-Cons aren't perfect for me, especially like if I'm trying to lay in bed and play. So kind of I went for like the Horis to have more controls. But
I had those.
I mean, peripherals in general are just ridiculous. Like on all the consoles, like this is going to sound bad, but when we're making Battletoads, like believe it or not, even when you're making a Microsoft game, you don't just get a bucket of Xbox controls. So we looked it up and we were like, okay, well, let's buy some more controls for the office. And we looked up the price and we were like, nah, fuck that. Let's just bring our own ones in from home.
That's
They
fine.
don't
I'm
drop,
mad at that.
That's the
they
right
don't
move,
drop
man.
the price.
That's the right
They
move.
don't drop the
man.
price.
They really don't.
Nah.
They really don't.
Nah.
Controllers
Not for those
controllers
controllers.
stay
Yeah.
controllers stay the same price forever.
It gets
Yeah,
more
Actually,
pricey.
that's where they make a lot of their money.
Yeah.
Unless it's
on
Black
the
Friday.
accessories.
That's the
Yeah.
one time you get $20 off.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's the only
For a
reason why I got
controller
another
that will
controller.
not work eventually.
Well, the
Oh, no,
Xbox
my
ones work.
Xbox
Xbox, no,
controller
Xbox
doesn't
is fine. Xbox, PlayStation, they're all fine.
Those joints
It's
are
just,
sturdy.
it's just the Joy-Cons.
They're all expensive though. They really are.
Yeah.
And they don't go down.
Wait until next gen.
Oh, man.
$80.
$80.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
$70 for a
$70
game.
game, $80 controller.
Yep.
95. No,
$100 a controller.
Lot of mercy.
it's not far fetched, man.
God, Lord.
Yeah, I'll just keep buying the ones that, what was it, the 8-bit do? The 8-bit do?
8-bit
Oh,
do, yeah.
That's
Those are the
a
best
good one.
controllers.
Those
man.
things are
Yo,
awesome,
those are
man.
fire. Those work.
I just bought another controller from
Oh, you did?
a retro, a Saturn one, yeah.
Oh, nice.
But you can use it on everything.
Actually, I might get another 8-bit though, to be honest. I might get another one. Just
I
be
have
done
two
with
of them.
I started to get different colors too because we never get different
For
colors.
what?
For multiple people.
Oh,
so I'm
yeah,
like, this
yeah.
is
So
mine.
you know which one is yours.
Yeah.
With the 8-bit do?
You can get a different one, yeah.
because
Oh,
then
really?
we always
Let me
mess
know.
up.
I'll probably get one.
I never get controls in different colors. I always have the same damn.
You got to mark a
basic
Sharpie on
color.
that shit.
And then you got to write on the back or something.
yeah. Well, I got the black.
Well, you have different
Tattooing your
ones, yeah.
controller.
Exactly.
I just put a little dot. I don't want to ruin it.
A little tie on it.
Name tags. Name tags.
Exactly. But yeah, so
Just Japan. Yeah,
it's next, like by the holidays, it's gonna be cut.
I hope so.
They'll be giving it away soon.
Hopefully.
They won't make this mistake for their next Switch. They won't do
They
that.
better not.
They might because they're not paying the
I
consequence.
don't think they'll do the.
They're not paying the consequence at all.
They're ignoring it. But,
Yeah.
but I believe
Yeah.
while they're making things,
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Yo, we can't have this again.
They knew about
we
this.
can't have this."
They
again.
made the Switch Lite and was like, nah, just do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
just put it in there. You can't
Yeah,
even take it
same
out.
tech.
Of
The same tech. Same
just
thing.
mess it up again.
Just cramp it up even more.
They got
smaller.
They got a hell of a deal. They got a hell of a deal from one of these companies.
He said they got a hell of a deal.
For real.
Oh man.
For real.
Man.
All right.
All right, so moving on to the next. GameStop partners with Microsoft. So remember the store that everyone thought was going away
Yes.
pretty soon? Well, they done something good finally, it seems. So this news is from GameRant.com. So we got to give them credit. So they announced a new multi-year strategic partnership just 1 month ahead of the Xbox Series X console launch. So they announced that, well, it's a strategic move. So hopefully this will get them some money back. GameStop and Microsoft partnership will see GameStop stores integrate Microsoft technology. So GameStop stores will be utilizing Microsoft's cloud-based data storage and business applications. And this will assist the associates when it comes to learning what the customers' preferences are, and it'll give them real-time information on product availability. So basically, you know how when you log into your account, it says what games you played, how long you played them, and like basically they'll have that information on their Surface tablets, which they'll be giving them also, because they were originally on XP, Windows XP still.
Yikes.
So they're finally getting an upgrade on their system 20 years down the line. But apparently they'll be able to walk around the store and check out your information, since if you're a member and all that, obviously. They can check out what you like, and if people come in and say, I don't know, what else came out like this, they can cross-reference what you've played and what you'd like to see what other games will help, you know, something that you'll be interested in.
And it'll all be Microsoft, no Sony, no. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, right now. But
Hey, do you have God of War? No.
What the hell is that?
We have Halo. Here,
Get out of the store.
you have a Mario. Well, now you can see what games are like Mario Brothers on Microsoft.
Crackdown 3. Here you go.
So
All right, nobody's buying that. All right, come on. Like,
They just give it to you at the
but
can we take this W, please? Like,
but they'll be allowed to walk around the store and help out customers, so you don't have to wait in line on the, you know, waiting at the counter and all that stuff.
He said Crackdown
So,
3.
and they'll also have access to Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Teams also.
That's
so
cool.
when you call in, you can talk to a person
Video
and stuff
chat.
like that.
That's cool.
So they're trying, and this is also information that can actually help the business. And like I said before, when we said GameStop was doing horrendous and losing and hemorrhaging money constantly, they weren't changing anything. So I was like, unless they change
That's the only
everything that
thing.
they do, like that we're not thinking of, they're not going to make it. So now this is some out of the box thinking that's actually going to get them money, because they have a deal that they have the Xbox All Access. So that's going to be the digital Game Pass service and all that. If you get it through GameStop, apparently they'll get some type of cut from it,
That
from
helps.
every deal that they get. So they'll be
helps.
making money digitally,
Okay.
because everybody's like, oh, digital, they're out of business. You're not going to make any sales.
Right.
But if they're making a cut of all that stuff and people find this the place to be where they can go and get games, this seems to be the right move over time to get them something going, whether it be like, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. And if it helps and their customer service is better, because they always gotten crap for their customer service, if they can actually help somebody when they walk through the doors, instead of saying, I mean, they're still gonna actually be a subscriber. But
Well, that's the thing. If as long as they're not obnoxious with the sales pitches, and they don't offer you 10,000 things.
if they
When you're
find-
going there to buy one thing, they're gonna offer you 50. I'm like,
they're
no, I
still
just
gonna
want the
offer,
game.
but as long as they can get a cut from this digital age,
as long
I can
as
see
it's
them
not
be
a-
there for longer than 2 more years.
It's like a pop-up ad. Nobody likes the freaking things, man. You know,
Sometimes,
like
yo.
or an unskippable ad. It's
Instagram
like,
be getting me with their ads all the time. I don't know why. That's the only thing that works for me. I'm like, yo, that looks kind of good.
I think I need that.
Yeah.
I've ordered some stuff off there. But
Well,
nothing
nah,
else.
They
nah,
have
it's crazy how Instagram integrates their ads with what you look up on Facebook.
Yep.
And what you look up on
Right away. I'm like, I just
I
saw
feel,
that.
I feel like I'm
they're-
being stalked.
Yeah.
No, you are.
Well, everyone,
Yeah,
is,
it's like-
everyone will be stalking you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to this though, it seems like this is the first step. I don't know if it's an exclusive deal with Microsoft, because if it is, then I don't know if that's a good idea.
Nah,
but
an exclusive deal is not wise.
But if Sony does the same type of deal with them, and Nintendo, and whoever else wants to get in on that, that means that GameStop is going to be getting a huge chunk of money.
Yeah.
From
They
everybody.
want that to happen.
Partner up with people with deep pockets.
Yep.
Yeah, but that'll keep them around,
Pretty cool.
and it might make me want to go into the store again.
Nah.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
We'll see. But is it in dire needs over there? Is GameStop still prevalent over there?
So we don't actually have GameStop.
Really?
I think our equivalent is Game, and I'm not sure it's the same company anymore, to be honest. Like I think Game's owned by a different company over here to what GameStop is over there. Like
So they don't stop.
So yeah, they don't stop. we used to have a electronics boutique. I don't know if
Yes,
you guys
Yeah,
had
yeah,
that.
we
I
used to
missed
have
that.
Cool, so like-
yeah.
They're still
EV
in,
got
Canada.
bought out by Game, so everywhere we have Game. But I mean, it's the same difference as GameStop, like just without the Battletoads meme. Yeah, it's like you said, it's, you know, the only way these physical stores are going to survive is if they can offer you something digital can't, and the only thing they can really do is that that recommendation interaction that isn't just an Amazon algorithm. Like, if you go into a shop and you can be, you know, it's what I miss about Blockbuster. Like, with Blockbuster, I would go in wanting to rent something, but not knowing what I wanted to rent. Like, you know, and that I miss that kind of talking to the guy behind the counter and saying, hey, you know, I really enjoyed these 3 really awful horror films. What awful horror films would you recommend? And and I think that's what GameStop could offer, in, you know, and especially with the help of this analytics, right? Is that kind of, oh, you really like these 3 AAA games? How about this little indie thing you might not have heard of? So I think that's cool. And I mean, the Microsoft All Access thing's awesome because that's the program where you basically pay monthly to get the console as well as the Ultimate subscription.
Yep.
And what I find really interesting with that is, like, it's the first time I think that a console's made a move to be like everyone's second console. Like what I'm seeing from people I'm talking to is like, yeah, I'm going to get a PS5, but now I can get this lower model Xbox monthly. I'll probably get that as my second console. And it's kind of interesting for me because I think that's a good play for Microsoft. Like, yes, try and compete to be number 1, but if at the same time you're going for that secondary market as well, because, you know, a lot of us, I mean, the same for you guys, right? But you've got more than one console. So, like, but it's not like anyone ever actively advertised themselves to you as, hey, buy us second. But I kind of feel like with the program from Microsoft, they're almost doing that a little bit. They're going, hey, you're going to want to drop 500 on a PS5 this Christmas. How about you just drop, you know, $20 a month afterwards and have a Xbox for the Xbox exclusives? So I think kind of it's clever from Microsoft because I think a lot of, you know, parents won't have necessarily heard of that deal. So when they're going into GameStop and they're like, oh, you know, my son wants this, blah, blah, blah. If they're turning around and going, hey, you know, you don't have to drop half a grand right now. Instead, you can just do this monthly thing, which actually
they'll love it.
Somehow as well, it works out cheaper, right? Because that all access deal is actually cheaper than paying up front, which is insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you get the box, you get the Ultimate Pass, you know, you now get obviously Game Pass Live, EA Play, all of this. Like, I think that's going to be really appealing to parents. But how many parents will stumble on it on the internet, I'm not sure. But I think a lot of parents would walk into GameStop and potentially be able to walk out with an Xbox they didn't think they could afford beforehand. But look, how long retail's going to be around is too hard to say, right? Like, I mean, for one thing, this pandemic is not doing retail any favors.
Seriously.
You know, the only positive besides the people factor they have is, for some reason, all the consoles still believe that they should charge more for a digital product because they're offering us a service. Like, especially like, you know, I live in a little town. I'm not even in a big city. And I can still get games delivered either same day or the next day by Amazon, right? So, like, what benefit does digital have to me? Like, especially like I downloaded Destiny 2. I've got like broadband to premises at my house. It's still 100 gig. I could have just waited. I could have just bought it online, let it turn up the next day. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think like as long as digital's pricing themselves up, hopefully people will still move to retail a little bit. But you know, people like GameStop just need to not be assholes. Like,
there you go.
Agreed. And that's what it comes down to.
That's the moral of the story.
Really is. Don't piss people off.
They're going to be robots now.
It's all about, you know, the way I always think about it is like, I pay more money for my graphic novels because I like going to comic book shops because it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
GameStop should be to video games what comic book shops are to graphic novels, but they're not. Like, it is like you walk through the door and somebody's trying to sell you a used car. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think if they can figure that out, like, how can we be the comic book shop of video games? Then like using all this information, you know, try and make, you know, not to use a nerdy word, but try to make GameStop cool, right? Like, actually be something people enjoy as an experience, not something that is really, really painful.
Yes. It's true. It's very, very true.
So either they do it that way, which it seems like they may be moving that way, or we just walk in and the Microsoft service will have a face and be like, hey, I can help you. I can help put your name. then you're good. That's where
I would walk right out.
Yeah, same, man.
Well, please.
Don't leave.
Where are you going?
Don't leave.
Please
You would
don't
feel
go.
sympathetic. Believe me.
No, I would not care. I'd be terrified.
Oh, dude.
If you leave, they won't recharge me.
No, I saw a robot in the supermarket.
Oh, I don't like that.
That thing is awesome.
I don't like it. I don't like robots, man.
I hate that
He just
thing,
moves
man.
around. I'm like, yo, dude, that's a robot.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Supermarket?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just looks around. He
Yeah,
tells you
just
if it's
cleans.
dirty. Yeah.
And it scans. Doop, doop.
Get
But
out of here.
I'm like, get out my face.
Yo, Skynet is live, bro.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
all
dude.
they gotta do is put big googly eyes on it, and I'm like, yo, that's
No,
it's a
I'm
person.
not going there,
Nope.
man. I don't want that.
Get
No,
confused.
thank you.
Put a wig
I'm
on
telling
it.
you, you'll feel a certain way. You'll feel a way.
No, I will not.
I always feel a certain way, man.
Jeez.
And it
Terrible.
won't be secure at all.
No.
But the last thing, what's cool is if you can go in there and say, what 4-play games you got for this system? And you bring up a list. That's all. That'll help. And be like, you can get this digitally or you can get this here, and we can call it a day.
What
That's the
four-player-
that's the type of help they need to give people.
Yeah, what 4-player couch co-op games do you guys have?
Yep.
I like that.
And they'll be like,
Yeah.
nothing.
But that's awesome. And that's even on the internet. That's hard information to find properly.
Yeah.
Like, I use Co-Optimus a lot because I really like it. But even then, like, if you go, hey, show me all the co-op stuff on Xbox, like, half
Online.
the time it's like a load of information that's just too much. So yeah, I mean, that's great. If you could walk in there and be like, hey, what four-player couch co-op games you've got? And they're like, we don't have 4-player. We've got 3-player Battletoads though. And then
Boom. Damn.
I was waiting for it.
I was thinking of that too.
What an excellent segue.
But we got the 3-player Battletoads.
I was going
for
to
you.
say it, and then I was like, no, he's going to say it.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing, dude.
And on that note,
Excellent
Yeah,
segue to the
man.
main.
Look at that segue right there.
Yeah. There we go. There it is.
The one and only.
Hell
There it
yes.
is.
They're back.
And we're talking murder.
I'm talking murder.
Yeah.
we're talking Battletoads now. Oh man.
So I got the trailer playing as we're.
That's awesome.
yes. So who wants to start out with a question?
Let me start off with a question, if I
of
can,
course.
AJ. How did Rare first approach you guys? How did that happen? You know, how did you get the call to do Battletoads?
So they got the call from me begging.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so I met Craig Duncan, the studio head of Rare. I met him in 2012, the year I started Dlala. And kind of we've been friends. He's been like a mentor to me in the industry. But like since I met him, I was regularly like every time I see him, I'd be like, "Hey, give me Battletoads, give me Battletoads." And he'd always be like, "You're not ready yet. You're not ready." And I'd send him awful pictures for Battletoads. Honestly, like terrible pictures for Battletoads. And then in 2016, we just had a project we were working on cancelled. And over the course of kind of the last few years around that time, we'd been working on a load of like tools of our own and also figuring out what we wanted to do. And like it was really when we started figuring out, you know, we wanted to do this hand-drawn like cartoon style game. And we showed him a demo of something we've been working on, and he was like, okay, I think we're ready to have the Battletoads conversation. So we went away, we put a pitch together, and then in 2016, like we took the pitch to them, and it went really well, and kind of we worked together on it. And for about, I mean, it would be a year and a half, we were pitching it upwards. Got all the way up to Phil. Phil liked it, but problem was that there wasn't an infrastructure in place to fund that type of game. So like Microsoft have ID at Xbox, which funds like helps support indie titles. And then obviously they have what is now Xbox Game Studios, used to be Microsoft Game Studios, which is obviously your 30, 40, 50, 100 millions. But nothing in that mid-range, which is actually quite common for the industry as a whole. There isn't tons of mid-range publishers like for that amount of money. So as far as we're aware, the Battletoads pitch was dead. We'd done everything we could. Everyone loved it, but that was it. And kind of, we then did some stuff. We came back. We ended up helping work on Sea of Thieves for like 6 months before it came out. And we were kind of working on our own thing. And just one day I got an email from Craig, and he was like, hey, just about to touch down in Seattle. Some conversations had happened about Battletoads. Like, if it comes up, would you guys be willing to talk about it again? And I was like, of course. Like, for me, it's not like it's not marketing. Battletoads versus Double Dragon and Battletoads, like they're some of my all-time favorite games. You know, so this was always a bucket list thing. And Dlala, at the point that he said in his email, we were really struggling. Like, we hadn't really nailed a big deal. We'd done some great work for hire, but nothing to kind of keep the studio alive. So we were really close to having to make layoffs.
Wow.
So he sent this email just saying that, like, okay, great stuff. If it comes up, I'll let you know. And then 24 hours later, I'm sitting at my desk and my email notification pops up, and it's an email from Craig, and it says, hey, I'm just about to go into meetings for 10.5 hours, so I won't be able to reply, but we are go. And that was it. And
that's dope.
Wow.
That's dope.
Wow.
And also, like, sitting here with you guys now, I know he meant we're going to make Battletoads. But being in the mindset I was in, just an absolute emotional wreck at the time, trying to figure out how I was going to keep everyone employed. Yeah. Like, I just sat there at my desk and I was like, what does it mean? Like, tell me what you mean. I was just having a breakdown, just sitting there, and Gemma, my production director, come over and she was like, "What's the matter?" And I was like, "Look," and she looked at my screen and she was like, "What does that mean?" Because like, chain of events where then like we got Mark and Ben, our IT and tech directors, and we went into another room and I was like, "So I just got this email," and it was just four of us sitting there going, "But what does it mean?"
It was just vague enough.
Yeah, it's just vague enough. Yeah.
There we go.
It's like 10.5 hours later, Craig gets out of meeting and he's like, "What do you mean? What does it mean?" "It means we're making Battletoads." Wow. And I was like, "We're making Battletoads." And I was like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Yeah, just one caveat. Like, you need to announce at E3." And so take into account, this was 6 weeks before E3.
Oh,
so
shit.
Yes.
So like when we went to E3, we showed that. I don't know if you guys ever saw the very first teaser we did.
Yes,
we
we
were
did.
there.
Yeah, we did.
So obviously, like, everyone afterwards was like, "Oh my God, Battletoads is kind of, why didn't they show any gameplay?" Like, I signed the contract just before I got on the plane to fly to E3. So like literally no gameplay. That teaser was everything that existed bar character designs. And the best thing for me was like I sat in the whatever it's called, the Xbox arena, the Microsoft arena, and no one had told me when we were on, like what position was our trailer on. And actually we flew out there not knowing we were definitely going to get shown, because to kind of give you guys a peek behind the curtain, a lot of the games, especially the smaller ones, you can still get chopped on the day. So like I turned up to Los Angeles not knowing if the trailer was going to be there. So I'm sat there, and I think the thing I remember most is there's this incredible guy from Japan, and like I listened to his reaction to every single trailer before ours, and like something come up and he'd be a bit like, and then definitely my trailer come up and he's like, "Yes!" It's like, "Dante!" And he got so excited. And as it was going, I just sat there and I started going, all I want is the guy behind me to get excited now. No one else cares except for this Japanese dude. Like, I'm okay. And like, it come on, and he was just like, "Oh, Battletoads."
Yes.
But like, our trailer was like those trailers you see at E3 for most games. Some of them cost hundreds of thousands just for the trailer, and our trailer cost about $3,000. It was literally like, I got a mate of mine who used to do my music videos when I was in a pop punk band to do the video.
Oh, nice.
He did the animation in his spare time because he didn't work for me full time then. Wow. And that voiceover, I literally paid a dude like $15 on Fiverr.com. Wrote the script, got it approved by MS Marketing, and was just like, "Hey, I'm not going to tell you where everything's coming from because it's probably best you don't know." And then so like, this trailer went up and it was literally like, you know, the most DIY thing ever to announce Battletoads.
That's awesome.
Wow. But yeah, like we literally found out we were making it 6 weeks before that, and we literally didn't sign the contract until I was about to fly out. So Rare didn't
That's
come
amazing.
to us as much as like we were like, this is what we want to do. And I think I told someone the other day on another podcast, like the first ever Battletoads picture I did was horrific. It was like episodic 3D characters, and they were time traveling. It was honestly, it wasn't good. Like Craig has done an incredible job at Rare since he's been there, but I think the best thing he ever did was saying no to that pitch of Battletoads.
Wow.
But yeah, like looking back now, I'm just like, oh my god, like if that had been made, like.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Well, what was your reaction when they announced the Battletoad in Killer Instinct?
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought it was awesome. Like, you know, for me as a Battletoads fan, just seeing the Battletoads doing their Shovel Knight as well.
Shovel Knight too, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seeing the Battletoads being used was brilliant. You know, for me, like the style they did for Rash and Killer Instinct suited Killer Instinct, but it was never what Rash was in my head. Like it was, you know, that whole realistic thing wasn't really what I'd ever pictured. But I thought it was brilliant. They did a great job. Like the VO, super cheesy lines, which is, you know, if you're going to write for Rash, you've got to write them super cheesy. Like, I think it was in Killer Instinct where he said these cameos are killing me line, wasn't it? It's killing me.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I thought it was brilliant. Like, yeah, just because I'm just happy to see the Toads getting used in some capacity.
Right. That's awesome.
Now about the script, who was in charge of like the dialogue and everything like that? 'Cause
that script is out of control, hilarious.
It's
dude.
amazing.
Hilarious, man.
Brilliant. Yeah. So I had an amazing writing team I worked with. So like our lead writer, Tom. So Tom Kaufman. Tom's a long-time friend. You'll probably know this from his writing, but he was one of the main writers on the first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty.
Oh,
wow.
There you go.
that makes complete
There you go.
sense.
That makes a lot of
Makes
sense.
a lot of sense.
So
That's
if
right.
you
Okay.
look up Tom, he probably wrote like a lot of your favorite episodes. I mean, I believe he was one of the main writers on "Show Me What You Got," the episode. So yeah, so like Tom was our lead writer, and kind of me and him had figured out like the overall plot, the whole idea about the Toads not being relevant, blah blah blah. And then 2 people on his team were Kelsey Abbott. So Kelsey's an incredible writer that writes for Cartoon Network.
Oh, wow.
And Wade Randolph, and Wade is also, he's an amazing writer and editor. So Wade's done he's done Cartoon Network stuff, he's done Community. He worked on some of the guys from Fallout Boy just did a new animated thing, and he worked on that with them.
Okay. Oh, wow.
But they're all just brilliant. Like it was amazing because like I've always had a dream when I was younger of like, oh, I hope one day I can do a little bit of script writing for TV. And then it turned out, I figured out really quickly, hey, you're not really good at that, AJ. So, like, getting to work with these people that know what they're doing and kind of getting to be part of that. And the way we kind of worked with that was those 3 had never done anything for games, and I didn't want them to be diluted by games and having to be narrative designers. So instead, like, we actually wrote the whole thing like they would write a TV show, and then like I'd translate that to game and then translate the game back to them for TV. And like, so like we built the whole structure around like Dan Harmon's concept of a story circle. Every act or episode, as it was at one point, had a full script like you'd see in a TV show. So yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, like I had a very, very minimal impact on the script. It's like Tom, Kelsey, and Wade deserve all the credit in the world because they absolutely smashed it. What I will say though is the Topians. So Drew and Mike, who played the 2 Topians, 90% of the stuff you're hearing, they just ad-libbed in the booth.
Oh, that's fucking amazing, dude.
I think Lucy said that, right?
Yeah.
They were doing a lot of ad libbing. That was
Oh
funny.
my god, it's just it's constant
It's hilarious.
laughter in that game.
Stuff I've heard is like the best stuff, but like you've got like there's a total of 30 minutes of cutscenes in Battletoads. I've got 30 minutes of them to ad-lib in one scene, like on my machine. Like honestly, like the whole, I think it's the very first scene you see the Topians, and it ends with I think Mike just said off the cuff, he was like, oh, and where's my sandwich, by the way? And that made it into game, but that was a whole and they were like, yeah, it was a ham sandwich, but an open ham sandwich. And then Drew was like, that's how a king should have his sandwich. It's just absolute gold. But it was incredible because they've come up like they'd worked together really early on in Channel 101, which is where a lot of our like writers and voice came from. But and they did some incredible ad-lib shows together, but they hadn't done anything together in something weird like 6 or 7 years. So this was like the first time they'd been. But honestly, you watched them in the booth and you'd think they just did it every day, all day, because they just riffed off each other. And we recorded them in, like, we literally shoved those two in a booth together and just let them go.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
That's cool.
give them the script, and then we'd record it like to the script. And then we'd be like, okay, do you just want to do what you want with this? And we kept like 3 lines from the script in the whole game, and the rest is just there. Like,
Oh wow.
That's complete magic.
I'm always fascinated by the creative process of voice acting for cartoons. Like I remember watching like the South Park, the behind the scenes and how they do an episode. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome to know that.
The whole game took me off guard, like with the dialogue, and it just it kept hitting me in the face with the hilarious moments in dialogue, and it was just like, oh my god, what is happening? It just, but it was just such a delightful. I felt like I was watching an awesome Netflix cartoon and playing through an awesome game with so much variety that I just did not know what to expect every time a new stage started, and that's what.
We're taken off guard, like the whole.
Yeah, it was just
it was
really,
like a ride. Like the game was like they didn't know what was going to come out next. It was really crazy.
And this,
So-
I was about to say a question, but you got something?
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys are gonna announce that Netflix cartoon.
Yeah.
Exclusive right here. Right?
I was gonna
Or
say-
maybe
I was gonna
Adult
ask-
Swim.
I was gonna ask the same thing. I was
No,
like,
it's on my. I think it's on all of our lists.
Yeah.
That like, there's got to be a
There's gotta be a
cartoon or
cartoon.
something coming.
because I could just watch it all day, man.
so like, I can say this, like, obviously, as you guys know, I don't own Battletoads. Like, Dlala, like, we got to make the game we wanted. We made, like, this was 100% what Dlala wanted to make, but Rare and Microsoft own it. But I still speak to those guys every day, and every day I'm like, so am I going to get a consultant call for a Battletoads show anytime soon? But yeah, I mean, look, no one would love to see it more than me. Like, I just think it would be amazing. Like, I don't even, like, I don't, all jokes aside, like, I don't even need to be involved. Like, you know, if they were to actually take it to a show, especially if they engaged with, like, the cast and writers from the game, like, I mean, I'd love to see it. All I can say is just keep hound Phil and hound Craig on Twitter.
Yeah. Like, I will. I
we
actually
because
will.
it's funny because when you think of that, you think Cuphead really paved the way of an amazing game. You know that also is having a Netflix series, and it's like, wow.
Well, it was animation first and foremost.
Well, yeah,
with that game.
Yeah,
and that's what made it stand out, even before we even played it.
Right.
So yeah, this is in that same vein. It's like
the
animation is
they
very
didn't
like
they didn't
that
have
stands
anything.
out.
They
It's just
literally had a play like. It looked like the gameplay, but it was just animated.
it's just the personality of the thing. It actually leads into my question, because I was going to ask about how did the redesign of the Battletoads happen, and I just want to go over the fact of when it was first announced, like originally, because we grew up with the original Battletoads for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and we're used to those designs and the actual pain of those games. Still to this day, the most frustrating co-op game I've ever played was Battletoads for the NES. It's extremely hard.
I still never beat it.
However, me and Turbo have beat it one time. One time. So that is, you know, that's an accomplishment.
Part of 2%.
Exactly. And, you know, when we first saw the teaser, you know, with the tongue getting on the turbo bike or whatever, I was like, oh shit, Battletoads 3 Players is coming out, blah, blah, blah. And then they had the trailer the year later with the action and all that stuff. We're like, oh wow, that looks cool. But we were like, I'm not sure about that direction with the Battletoads. And
But there was controversy.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy with the
you guys were the only people to think that.
I'm sure you've heard.
I know,
of
right?
But the crazy thing is, I'm like, you know what? I was like, I'm a Battletoads guy. I love Battletoads. I like the insane difficulty, you know, that's in there, and I love the beat 'em up parts and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a chance because let me not get too crazy about the design. Let me just play it and see what's up. As probably in the first 5-10 minutes, I'm like, I see why they did this. I see why it looks
After
the way
it came out,
I see why it looks the way it looks, and it could
sense.
only work this way. And as soon as they never had personalities back in the day. It was more to me like the Ninja Turtles. Here's the Battletoads, and here's their enemies, and that's it. Now it seems like you guys created such a world that didn't exist before with Battletoads, gave it personality, and as you play throughout the game, it's like, Oh, I can only picture Battletoads like this. I'm like, and it just worked instantly so well, and it completely. Because I'm a stickler when it comes to redesigns. I'm like, I don't like the way this looks. It's not the way I'm that way. I'm just, I draw. So like when it comes to art and stuff like that, that's the way I am. But the way you guys did it and gave everybody personalities, they don't act like Leonardo, Donatello. They don't act like the Ninja Turtles. They got their own crazy fucking personalities, and the way it was pulled off was just, to me, it was a flawless way of pulling off the game in a reboot. And who was in charge of the redesign? Who was that you? Was that a team?
I mean, I can't draw for shit. So so the actual Toad design, so the 3 Toads and DQ. That was I worked with Mike Dietz and Ed Schofield. So Mike and Ed actually currently work for Tommy Tellerico on Neon Television Amico.
Tommy, it's a boy.
Comes back around first circle.
I mean, you guys will know Mike's work. So Mike was animation director on Cool Spot, Jungle Book, Aladdin, Earthworm Jim 1, Earthworm Jim 2. Ed was on Earthworm Jim 1 and 2, and I think Jungle Book with Mike. And they're longtime friends. Like, we've known those guys for years. We were working on a project with them before. So kind of when we were first pitching Battletoads, in my head, stuff looks like 90s cartoons, and there's no better, 90s cartoon video game designs than Earthworm Jim. So I just called up Mike and was like, Mike, will you and Ed design me some toads? So Mike, Ed and Eric, so Eric, our animation director, his first job was cleaning up Mike's line work on Earthworm Jim. So that's kind of in our blood at Dlala. So back in 2016, when we first started this pitch, we did 200, 300 toad designs.
Wow.
All very, very different, but all very cartoon driven. So different kind of levels. And we work through that. And kind of the way we do that is we do what we call shotgun blast, which is where we do really, really quick sketches. And then I'll pick out the elements I start liking, and then we start honing in a little bit. But we actually got to our toads really kind of naturally. They stood out pretty quickly for me. So I think even though we went from 300 to 20 to 8 to I think those toads instantly were the ones in my head where I was I really hope we end up on an iteration of these. DQ took a little bit longer. So DQ I originally went a bit older with. I wanted her to have aged almost the whole 26 years. But it became this really weird juxtaposition where the toads felt younger and DQ looked old as hell. And that's one of the really good bits of feedback we got from Rare. They were a bit DQ, she's a bit old. And I was like, yeah, she is, because it's been 26 years. Kevin Smith, you can't just do this. They're not your characters. Do something.
That is hilarious.
Wow. There's so many parts of that.
But yeah, so they ended up so it's really it's Mike and Ed and Eric's kind of genius that's really behind those designs, and I just fell in love with them, and that style kind of then grew from those characters.
I can only picture it that way now. I can't picture it the old way because it's awesome. It's redone. This is
there's more personality.
Yeah, it's so much personality.
They bring so much life into those characters.
It makes complete sense that you mentioned Earthworm Jim and the animation in that, because that's the only other game that I could say is kind of similar to gameplay of Battletoads.
Yeah, and even the animation-wise, the cutscenes.
But the way people say Battletoads is when we were talking to Lucy. Yes, when they say it was a beat 'em up. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, Battletoads is a beat 'em up. I'm like, no, really, not quite. Not it has beat 'em up elements. But the fact that people only play the first stage of Battletoads is why they're like, yeah, this is what it is. And then they down on the race on the bikes. They down the bikes. They don't see the rest of the game. The rest of the game is barely a beat 'em up. And Earthworm Jim, they say, it's a side-scrolling platformer. And if you ever get further in there, all those stages are not the same.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, because in the NES one, the first stage is a beat 'em up. They don't make it far in the game.
Nobody gets far.
So they think it's just a beat 'em up. I'm like, no, if you play Battle Maniacs for Super Nintendo, they have one beat 'em up stage the entire game. There is no other beat 'em up element in that game. So it's like, no, Battletoads is not a beat 'em up. There's beat 'em up stages. The new one that we just played has more beat 'em up stages than any of the Battletoads.
I prefer beat 'em up stages.
Yeah, I mean, and that combat is deep. Yeah. That is some deep, awesome, quick combat, which was holy fuck. fuck?
Well, my first combo, I busted out the arcade machine. I was like, what is happening in this game? Literally the first combo.
The tomb thing.
Yeah, the tomb.
The sarcophagus.
Yeah, yes.
That's my favorite.
That's
move.
the funniest thing, man.
There's so much in there.
I'll tell you guys this now. I don't know if I've spoke about this yet. So those moves nearly didn't go in. So the arcade cabinet, the sarcophagus slam, and Zitz's ball. So we originally had special moves in the game, and because early on, one of my influences was WWE. So we did loads of wrestling inspired moves.
We're on the same page, AJ. We're on the same page.
Are you giving Pimple an arcade?
Yeah. Are you our long lost brother or something?
I'm a massive wrestling nerd, a mark, you can easily say, right? And so I was bringing in all the other stuff as well. Like I was a big fan of Kenny Omega.
Shit.
I think in the E3 build, Rash used to do Kenny Omega's finisher, the one-winged angel. So put him on his shoulders, jump up.
Yes.
So that was actually in the E3 build, but no one knew that system existed then.
Wow.
But it quickly became apparent that really kind of the way I built out the special moves played against the multiplayer stuff because it focused, it pulled all the attention. So Rash had an arcade cabinet and we played with that, but in the end I stripped all that stuff out. But I loved those animations, and I was sitting there, and it may have even been as late as this year. It may have even been after Christmas this year, and I was like, this arcade machine is awesome. This sarcophagus drop is awesome. I was like, I don't want to lose this. And I was like, well, what about if I just quickly went into the combat system and added in a later stage morph? And then I put it in, and I was like, so I cut up the animation, shoved it in really messily, and I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. And I was like, okay, I can do this. Okay. Pimple sarcophagus drop originally was about 160 drawings. That's how many. So I trimmed that down, got that in the game. And the only one that didn't work was Zitz's. So Zitz's special used to be he summoned, the robot turtle that comes out when you taunt and he burps.
Yes. Yeah.
So he used to come out and burp a massive laser and fire lasers down. But it just wasn't as good as the others. And I'd used up all my animation time and budget, and I ended up sneakily, and I'm not allowed to do this anymore, I sneakily went around to Eric, our animation director, and I was like, look, I really want to keep these things in the game, but I need something cool for Zitz, so I kind of need you guys to do it, without anyone knowing.
Good move,
knowing
man.
behind my producer's back, which I will never do again, trust me.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
They did and then I think it was either E himself or India did the ball animation. I was like, oh, I love this. It was India, in fact. I love the ball, and I got it in, got the sound effects, got done. But literally, I think the final version of those went in probably about a month and a half, 2 months before we submitted for certification. So those moves nearly didn't exist in the game.
Wow.
I'm glad they did because I just love the animations. They're just stupid moves.
Brilliant.
I gotta change my diaper, man. I'll be back.
See, that news
There's a
did
callback
it.
from the game.
That news did it.
It got him too excited. He's like, what? I gotta use the bathroom now. Look at that.
Speaking of scenes like that, it's just ridiculous. I haven't seen a game to this day, and we played tons of games. I haven't seen a game to this day integrate their cutscenes within the game as this did. It's straight from cartoon straight into the game. You can't even really tell the difference.
Beautiful.
And then it goes right back into it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I couldn't have imagined it. Couldn't
We had a lot of doubts. There
yeah.
was a lot of doubts we had. I'm like, oh no, I don't know if this is they're gonna pull it off. But I'll play it. But oh my god,
because on your guys'
They
side,
knocked it out of the park.
on your guys' side, when that first trailer came out, and everybody was like, the animations, the fighting looks a little slow, and the art is the way it is. What did you guys feel then, and what did you want to just wish you could tell them when you heard that?
Yeah, I mean that was super hard, right? So we flew the whole team out to E3 that year, the whole team. We all went out, and we got a few of the team in for the conference that year. I didn't go, and we hired a little bowling alley, and we streamed the conference. And so the trailer came up, and the crowd in the arena went crazy, and then the initial reactions were really good, and very, very quickly that chat went from positivity to putrid vitriol hatred.
damn.
And like, you know, the internet reacted like it reacted, and it was super hard, man. Like, it hit all of us. Like, a lot of the people who made this game had never made a game before. Like, this was their first commercial release. The artists especially, I mean, as you guys have hopefully seen now, the art in that game is incredible. Like, it just is. Like, I'm not being egotistic because I did none of it. Like, the artist did an amazing job.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
But obviously, all the hatred was just towards the art. Like, because, you know, people don't distinguish between I hate the character designs and I hate the art. So, like, the artists took it really, really badly. And we all did. I mean, I stayed up that night and I read every single tweet. Like, every tweet that said the word Battletoads. And it got to, like, 6 o'clock the next morning and I was still awake, and I just went down to the conference centre ready for the next day, and I was a mess. And I went in and I got in on my own and I sat down and I loaded up the game and I played it and I went, you know what, fuck these guys. Like, this is awesome. All these people that played the game are telling me how much they hate it. And we actually ended up having an amazing E3. Like, we were tucked away, one machine in a little corner, and they ended up having to print off a sign because they kept getting so many people asking where we were. The press loved it. And so kind of like, we were able to ride that hatred out a little bit.
Good.
You know, and like, obviously, if you fast forward a year, the trailer that came out just before we released this year, like, it was completely flipped, right? It went from 70-30 hate to 70-30 positivity. But yeah, like, I knew there'd be hatred. I told the team the whole time, like, two things. One, we're changing something that people love, so they're going to be angry about it. For a lot of people, when they think of Battletoads, they think of Battletoads Arcade. So in their head, they think of crotch punching, they think of heavy metal aesthetic, they think of like gore, and just beat them up, and that's their Battletoads, and that's not what we were doing. And the other thing, and this is what I tell the team for everything we do, like, if you don't make something people hate, then no one's going to love it, because those emotions are just so close to each other that, like, got one, get the other, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I felt like I was prepared. I thought a lot of it was going to be about the Dark Queen, which it was, because, you know, God forbid we make her breast smaller and upset the internet.
Yeah, like, seriously, dude. Like, what the fuck?
What?
Like, give it a chance.
It's, but like, I don't understand that bit, but like, I understood why people were going to be angry. It was upsetting still and stuff, but I knew, like, it didn't bother me. And the thing was, like, I went to Craig and went to Rare the next day, and I was like, look, like, I believe 100% in what we're doing, but like, are you guys having second thoughts? And they were like, no, like, we love the art style, like, what this is saying, none of this is bothering us whatsoever. Like, you guys need to carry on and do what you're doing. And when they, you know, when they're turning around and saying that, like, the other voices like fade away a little bit, because it's like, oh, okay, well, these guys, this is their IP. Like, they will have Battletoads long after we've gone. So yeah, so like, it was mixed, man, and like, it was really mixed moving on from there going forward, because the hate never stopped. Like, right up until that new trailer, like, the hate never stopped. Every day there were still people telling us, you know, how crap it looks. What I will admit though is, I went on YouTube, I read some comments. Somebody uploaded 10 minutes of footage from Gamescom. You guys probably saw that. So like, the Gamescom build is the E3 build, but I just changed. There was a joke where it was like, must be an E3 thing, and I changed it to must be a Gamescom thing. But that build was like 3 months into production. So like, we haven't got a big enough team to make E3 builds. So what I agreed with Rare and Microsoft was like, look, we've done an amount of work. Like, we're going to give you guys a snapshot, and this is the only build we're going to do. So by the time people played it at Gamescom, the game had really changed, but we couldn't say that. But the comments are just for the hatred, and there's just this one dude in there, and he wasn't hateful. He was just really like, he was like, hey, you know, I don't hate the game, but like, I tried putting the speed of the video to 1.2 times, and it played, and it looked much better. And I went, oh, I put the speed to 1.2 times, and then I did it, and I was like, oh, it does look better. I sat there and I looked around. I was like, okay, don't say anything to anyone yet. And I went in the game and I changed all the actual data in the game, and I played it, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is better. And like, instantly, like that, because that guy wasn't hateful, he was constructive.
Right.
So we upped the speed, and then it's very hard, like, sometimes in games, especially in my role, like it's not about admitting I'm wrong, but like something I'm really bad at sometimes is like I'll have a voice in my head and it will say to me, like with Battletoads, a voice in my head when AJ, you really hate it that everyone dashes outside of combat. Why don't you give them a run? And I was always like, no, don't do 2 mechanics in at AJ, shut up. And eventually I was kind of like, oh, maybe we just need, like, maybe in at AJ was right 6 months ago. So I went to like my tech director and I was like, how much work would it be if we kept the dash in combat, but we ran outside of it? And he was like, yeah, not much. And I was like, oh, damn it. Why didn't I listen to Inner AJ 6 months ago? So like we got the run in and we quickly did some rough animations. You know, we always put everything in like pencil test form, and the run just felt much better because what I hated on that Gamescom video, which is what I saw with every person that played, is as soon as they knew dash was the fastest way to move, they just dashed the whole time. And suddenly this beautiful game just had this character who was just a permanent smear frame going like that. So that one guy on the Gamescom video who was constructive triggered us up in the speed. I reduced the some of the post punch times as well, so I cut some frames out. I added a run, and it was because that guy was constructive. So like that was something positive that came out of it. But you know, you guys saw it, right? And you would have felt it a little bit yourselves as Battletoads fans, right? You were disappointed after you saw that video because it wasn't, you know, it didn't feel like it was what you wanted. It wasn't the quality you wanted. It was new designs.
It was the original thought. Yeah.
And when we first saw the first show, like the speed of the combat, I'm like, that should be sped up a little bit.
Well, we saw Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah.
At the same time, and it was like, okay, I could see there's a difference in, you know, speed between the two. So I was like, yeah, it definitely needs to be sped up a little bit. I didn't leave a comment though.
I always reserve judgment until the game is released. So when we did watch it, I know you guys had, you know, different opinions.
No, we went back and forth.
We definitely went back and forth.
Yeah, I always reserve judgment because I'm always in the mindset of like, oh, this game is still being made and it's not finished. So when the finished product is there, let me try it out, and then
anytime I see a trailer, I'm like, okay, how far into production is it? Okay, I hope they eventually show blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, always taking into consideration.
Rather than be like, what the hell is this? Let me just wait. Hopefully, the next time they show the game, we'll see more of the blah 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 blah. And then when the next one comes out, like when the last trailer that came out before the game came out, I said, there we go. I said that is exactly. I know this game's gonna be fucking good.
And what would help also on top of, because we have a reaction show that we do called the Indie eShop. We react to indie trailers or indie games, and one of the things that we always recommend is for indie game developers to have a trailer available. But if they have a trailer and a demo, that's even better. That much better, because then you can give your feedback instantaneously and let the devs know that, you know, if you have any concerns or anything like that.
Yeah.
Before the game's released. So.
Yeah, I think people get too emotional.
Yeah,
they're too emotional because
people have to realize that there's time. Like even you explained, you said when you first showed the first exact trailer, like there was nothing done.
Yeah. Right.
And people have to say, okay, this isn't the finished game when you show another trailer. And it's like when you say it's done, it's done. But if you're just showing stuff, take into consideration that things can change. And you don't know where the game is at the moment.
I was pumped by just the 3-player co-op when they announced. I said, "Holy shit, 3-player co-op! Here we go!" I'm like, "Let's go!"
However, I'm not gonna say I wasn't concerned. The one concern I did have was when the Xbox had that the event where they were gonna reveal all the games,
and they didn't show anything.
And they didn't show Battletoads at all. And I was like,
upset with
I would have bet money that Battletoads is gonna be in that event.
What did I say? I said they're working on some stuff. I said they're fixing some things. I know they're fixing some stuff.
I was like,
I know it.
I was disappointed. I'm like, no.
Well, because it was quiet.
Yeah.
Because especially when the beat 'em ups were coming back with the Streets of Rage and stuff, it was quiet.
Right.
And you're like, okay, they definitely have to be doing something there.
That's the hardest thing about doing these games. These games with these big companies is like they basically have my tongue under lock and key, right? So like if they're like, but we had big arguments. That was one of the only arguments we had, and it wasn't even with our direct contacts. Was like, why aren't we in the event? And the justification to us that came in the end, because we were going to be in it, and then we weren't, and then we were. But it was when they decided they wanted to be next gen, or basically new gen as it is now, basically focused. we were one of the last games for this gen, so like that was the reason they didn't want to show us. And I wasn't overjoyed about it, but like it actually turned out to be one of the best things that happened, right? Because when our trailer dropped, all the comments were like, "Why wasn't this on the Xbox show?"
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
And like
that was just good.
That made us look like that for us was better than everyone getting excited about it being an Xbox, because that actually was like, we told you, like. But it's weird, man, because I think the internet really got bought in after the Rare Twitter posted like an 11-second clip of, I think it was Zitz doing Kombat.
Yes.
Like, that was the turning point. Like that clip went up, and that was when everyone like suddenly, like, because we monitored like the positive against negative like sentiment online, and that was like the turning point where suddenly people were like, oh, actually, maybe. And then the game came out and they got up to mistreated in Act 2, and then they were like, fuck you guys.
That's too funny.
There's so many different modes in there, though.
Yes.
Like, how did you guys figure out like how to change it so much on every level? And there was one, there's a lot of people who want to ask this one question, because the stage where you ride on what's his name?
Jeff.
The stage that you ride on, Jeff.
Poor Jeff.
Was super long. Like, that was an extended level. And I was like, this is going on for a long time. And it's like, the music, it gave me memories. Bad memories of trying to get through the bike, because it's the bike music.
I like the
and
pacing.
I was like, oh my gosh. But a lot of people would want to know why that was extra long. But as far as all the change ups in the games, like how did you guys think of all that? It's a two-part question.
The mini games.
Yeah, the mini games.
Even mini games too.
There's puzzle. There's like puzzle.
I like the
things
mini
in there
games
too.
man.
Yeah, so kind of like the different genres, like it kind of came from a bit of everywhere. So some of them we knew right away we wanted to do. Obviously, we're going to do beat 'em up. That was always going to be in there. Turbo Bike. I knew I wanted to do an homage to Turbo Bike, but rather than it just being what Turbo Bike was, I actually wanted to give a little bit of a nod to the old bonus level in Earthworm Jim, where you're on his rocket and
Thank
do
you
like
for doing
behind
that, by the
him.
way.
That was awesome.
If it was a regular bike, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't have taken it.
No, it was fun. I have to say,
It was way more fun.
it was
this
more
time.
fun. Even though it was frustrating, I still had fun.
It was like the perfect amount of difficulty.
Yes.
Yeah. The turbo bikes are so much better, because I remember that nightmare from the Nintendo version.
Never
that
finished it.
I never passed it.
I never passed it either.
I never
I
passed
passed
it.
it.
I never passed it.
I never passed it.
I remember throwing
I take
a
the
Nintendo
warp zone
controller
though now.
several times.
Well, we're not platformers, like, we're not really
I'm
doing
not a
that.
platform.
Speak for
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourselves.
I'm talking about Big Chalk and I, man. I'm not talking about you, motherfucker.
I'm not
I am
like
speaking for
Let's
myself.
clarify that a little bit.
I am speaking for myself.
with
And
practice. I can be good at a platformer, but
Yeah.
I'm like on the first run, it's
I,
not
just,
gonna
I
happen.
didn't have the patience as younger when I was younger.
Let AJ explain what he was doing.
Sorry.
I like hearing you guys talk about it. It's nice for me. But yeah, and then so other bits were from different areas. So sometimes I'd get the script through from the writers and I'd read it and they'd say something and I'd be like, oh crap, like it'd be awesome if we did this. Act 2 was my Weekend at Bernie's thing. Like I wanted the whole thing about Act 2 to be like about Weekend at Bernie's. So that's why like Jeff gets knocked out at the start, because the great thing about that was, spoilers, is the whole idea was like, if Zitz had let DQ go in there, she would have got the map, walked out, and like that would have been it over. But like because his paranoia meant that they did this, we ended up in the Weekend at Bernie situation where they were caught in this unconscious dip.
Hysterical.
And like,
Hysterical.
so like I was like, I wanted something like we'd discussed like a grinding game. Like I'd really like stuff like Ollie Ollie and things like that. Kind of, I got into that sort of thing. And then my lead designer Grant was really the one that was like, hey, you've got an unconscious diplomat. You said early on you'd like to do something. Why don't we do it here? And then like he put together a prototype team and he came up with what Mistreated ended up being, which is one of my favorite levels in the game. That was a culmination of stupid ideas. And then like Space Shooter, we knew we wanted a space shooter, but we were like, none of us have ever made a space shooter. So we were kind of like, okay, well, I'm not really into like, traditional like shooters like they do them, and I was like, but I really love Geometry Wars, and I was like, so I
Oh shit! Yes,
so what I
dude,
said to the
definitely.
guys was like, if you were
Good
going to take that
inspiration.
old like space shooter format and combine it with Geometry Wars, like what would it look like? And that's kind of they then took it and sort of built out what the space shooter sections were. I'm just trying. An idea could have come from anywhere, basically. So like there was ideas in there where like people that weren't designers would say something, and we'd be like, "Oh my god, what about if we?" And the thing that always makes me laugh is like the stuff in that game is stupid. Like we had written on our wall for the whole time we made that game was like a question, and that question was, "Does it make you say stupid game?" Because naturally this thing happened in the office where someone would be testing the game, and you just hear, "Oh, stupid game." Like our mantra for like making the game. But some of the most stupid stuff didn't even make it in. Like, you know, I think I've mentioned before we had originally the Toads went home after they got out of the bunker, and that they go to get the turbo bikes, and they open their garage, and one of the turbo bikes escaped. And then we had a mini game in pre-production where you had to hunt the turbo bikes because it was buffalo.
Stupid.
So you'd go out and it'd be all these water buffalo, and then this turbo bike living as a buffalo.
Oh my god!
And you know that only works in Battletoads. This kind of shit only works in Battletoads, which makes it so damn unique. You can do whatever the hell you want in that game.
It's funny that you say that the creative process, how you ask yourself, is this stupid? And then that's what you
put it in. Is it dumb? Yeah, throw it in there.
I remember with Earthworm Jim, with Tommy Tallarico said, he's like, yeah, we think of something that's funny.
And you work around the fun.
And then we build a game around that. So that's very similar to it. It definitely works, man. That mantra, or whatever.
That sounds like an idea for the sequel.
I mean,
we'll talk about that later.
It was one of the favourites. It was like it ended up with you had to sneak up on it, lasso it, and then it turned into like a beat matching game as you were trying to.
Shit.
That's funny.
But, I mean, like the pre-production process on Battletoads was really awesome. Like we did this weird thing where like I'd been really into reading about how Google did this approach to prototyping, blah blah blah, and so we ended up doing this thing where like every week the team I'd give them like a concept. I'd be like, "Oh, give me something we could do around this, like this word or this sentence," and then they'd go away, they'd figure out what they wanted to do, and then at the end of that week they'd either present a playable prototype, it might have been a video. One of them they even did like a live action, like almost theatre performance to show the prototype. But it was great because it meant we started the game from this place of humor and stupidity, and it just stayed the whole time. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, you know, even when it was really stressful. Like we still laughed, and we, you know, with the cutscenes, like I laughed when I read the script. And then I laughed when I heard the scratch VO, and then I laughed when I saw the storyboards, and then I laughed when I was in the recording room recording them, and like, you know, it's an unsung hero for me. But the joke where they're in Dark Queen's hideout and it's the whole pimple punch me through the brain bit.
Yes.
Honestly, like everyone in the office thought I was insane because the first time I heard that I had my headphones on and I was sitting at my desk and everyone else was there. And I was literally crying with laughter. Like, that was the best thing I had ever heard. And, you know, right up until the point the game released, that joke would still make me laugh when I watched it. And so, yeah, it was just a game that was made on being stupid. And, you know, the other rule we had was, like, make it toady, where, like, everything we did, we were like, if a normal person could do this, why bother putting it in the game? So it's always toady version was of what we were doing.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
We joke
What's your
around.
guys' favorite line?
We joke around all the time saying
say.
our line of the entire year is Rash. I'm talking murder. Like that shit had us crying. Like that was.
I was like, what?
It was so out of it came out of nowhere, dude.
Out of control.
He's like, oh yeah, we'll go take care of these dirt bags. I'm talking murder. Like that, like just the delivery. I'm like, yo, he's so ruthless. With
That was brilliant.
yeah,
The
like
close up, it was great.
yeah, with the
It was
beady
great.
ass eyes he's
It was
got
great.
too under the shades.
That's
Horrible.
hilarious.
Eyes are horrible.
That's the line of the year for me.
Beady eyes made me laugh, man.
I have a two-part question. First part, you mentioned Battletoads and Double Dragons earlier being a favorite of yours. We're big Double Dragon fans over here. With the new design of the Battletoads, have you thought about a possible reboot of Battletoads and Double Dragon?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. Like, you know, I think I said this to Rare before. Like, you know, obviously, whenever you start crossing the streams of ownership, things get complicated. But like, I even said that, like, even like a collaboration. Like, I would love it if it was like us working with Way Forward and making Battletoads Double Dragon together or something.
Crazy.
I would lose my mind.
Double Dragon Neon looks pretty close.
Yeah, man, it's
the
a
same
close
design.
around there. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I love that original Battletoads Double Dragon. That Battletoads Double Dragon was my entry drug to Battletoads. I played that 91 Battletoads. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'd love to do that. You know, I'd definitely love to do that.
The second part was being how the Battletoads design changed dramatically. A lot of other cartoons have been changing their designs, like Thundercats, Transformers, and the Ninja Turtles. And we were joking around about, you know what? The Ninja Turtles do kind of have a similar design like the Battletoads nowadays. How about a Ninja Turtles and Battletoads? Like, how would you feel about that kind of a merger?
Yeah, I mean, when Rise of TMNT come out, as a fan, I was like, I absolutely adore this. As the guy making Battletoads, I was like, everyone's going to think we're ripping off the Turtles. I was just like, I'm going to have to do interviews. I'm going to have to show dated paperwork to prove that I had no idea.
I got to come back to the Level 857 podcast and explain this.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? Because obviously, like, it's no secret that the Battletoads were basically made to capitalize on anthropomorphic animals being heroes. It'd be interesting if those worlds work together. Like, I think, like, gritty comic turtles or even, like, original live-action turtles would probably work with our Battletoads.
Yeah.
I would be worried that, like, our Battletoads might have a little bit too much attitude to work with that TMNT audience.
The Battletoads are a little out of control.
I think it would be a funny dynamic, though.
I would love to see
the turtles.
Like, they're going a little too far.
You guys are just killing people and stuff. What are y'all doing?
You see the turtles.
These guys
like,
are
all
murderers.
straight, they're like serious, and then the Battletoads are
No, we got to arrest them. No, I'm talking murder. Like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on?
I think that would be funny.
I would love it. Be really, really crazy.
I put that meme up too.
That's
when
hilarious.
Rare had when they had the Battletoads with the dimensional portal.
Yes.
And I had them have the Ninja Turtles, the new Ninja Turtles in there.
Hell yeah.
And they were like, they had the same picture. They were jumping through it. I was like, that's perfect.
Yes.
That's a perfect picture.
Got to make that happen somehow, man.
So yeah, I made that. If you see it.
That's funny. I got a quick question, AJ. Number one, I appreciate you guys approached this Battletoads game because I remember with Battletoads and Battlemaniacs for Super Nintendo, it really was very close to the NES. It was just like updated graphics, except zips just captured this time, and a lot of the stages were the same as the NES version, just better graphics. But you guys, you got the Utopians. It's not about Dark Queen, a queen in the army and stuff like that. But I noticed a couple of characters were missing, like Professor T-Bird was missing, General Slaughter, Big Blag, and Robo Manus. And I was wondering, were any of those characters redrawn or considered for this game, possibly, or not even considered? How'd you feel?
I'd be saved for the sequel.
So T-Bird was redesigned.
Okay.
So we had T-Bird. So just to be before I say what I'm about to say, be very clear. No one has asked me to do a sequel yet, so when I'm talking about sequel stuff, it's like in my head.
Come on, that's my next question, AJ. Come on.
The last thing I want to do is accidentally confirm a sequel that doesn't exist.
Exactly. All right. I mean, maybe you should speak it into existence. I'm just saying.
Say it 5 times.
Dark Queen, originally, her kind of role was actually going to be T-Bird. So what was going to happen originally was that the Toads got out of the bunker, and T-Bird had gone batshit crazy. And like,
I can see that.
No one had told him what happened to the Toads, and what he'd done is he'd gone around finding, like, this is going to sound, traces of the Toad's DNA. He mixed it with his own DNA to make, like, dodgy Toads, like, because he was trying to replicate the Battletoads. And the idea was that by the time the Toads found him, he was just mental, and he became, like, this fourth person that came around with you who had just lost his mind the whole time.
Out of control.
But like some of that spilled into the idea of obviously DQ becoming an alliance, and also like where he'd been making the weird toads. That's where DQ had been making the weird toys from the carnival.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's hilarious.
There was another T-Bird pitch. We might end up using this one day, so you might be getting like if we ever did a sequel, this could be a massive spoiler. But like,
Oh shit! Please tell us.
Tom always discussed the idea that like if T-Bird had moved on and he'd had a family and kids, and like the toads just turn up at his house and they're like, "We're back. Where's the vulture?" And he's like, I've got a family, I've got a job, like, and he's like, he's been through therapy, like he's got over the whole losing his friends for 26 years, and now they're just back, but like they're just the toads, so they just don't give a crap about him. They're like, well, come on, we need a ride, like start up culture, we're going. And T-Bird's wife's like, what's going on? Who are these? And then T-Bird's just like, I told you they weren't in my head. I told you.
Oh my God! Please, I hope that happens.
Man.
Please.
Yo,
You hear that, Rare? You hear that, Rare?
Please.
That's
Funny. Rare, I hope you're watching.
Yo, I need to call
and
up
paying
Rare.
close attention.
That's
call
funny.
him up,
That's
dude.
pretty
That'd
hilarious.
be out of
That is
control.
freaking great.
But for us, like the whole thing was, and to actually answer your question rather than doing one of my tangents. So like we redesigned T-Bird. In regards to Robo Madness, General Slaughter, all those guys, like we wanted it to this is a sequel, so like it's canon. But we didn't want to just use other characters for the sake of it, and like it didn't make a lot of sense that the old baddies were in it if DQ had been almost turned in wrestling terms. Like if she'd gone face, it didn't make as much sense having those guys in it.
Yeah.
And also me and Tom are very, what we did with DQ, we would have probably gone to more extremes with the others. Like we probably would have ended up that like Robo Manis was working at like a burger joint and like, would have had like these little bit part cameos rather than being like main attractions. And we would have just got so much more hate mail than we already did.
That is hilarious.
It'd be funny.
That is too funny.
Oh, dude, if they did, if I see that with T-Bird,
joint
I will
manager.
lose my mind. If I
Sounds
see,
good to me.
Oh my
Sounds
God.
All right, quick question before you guys chime in. The snakes. Did you guys ever think about putting a snake stage in?
Don't do it.
Snake Humpington, yeah. No, there was no like.
Good.
But I didn't want to replicate anything from the old games too much. And like that snake level is like,
Don't
it's
do
another one like the hoverbike is infamous as much as it is famous.
the snake level.
So yeah, like I think that like if people want to experience humping a snake, then they should play the originals.
I hated the snake stages more than the bike stages. Actually, I hated the snake stages. So much.
I wouldn't know.
Like you said before, if you do have them in the background, be like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like a side joke.
The snakes.
And there's so many side jokes. I love it. Like, are they brothers? Who knows? Nobody knows. They never reveal if they're brothers at all. I like how Zitz is like, I'm not trying to get captured again. Like, it's I love those things.
I love that there's history there.
Oh, it's
And they know about it.
hysterical.
When they said they were locked away and the world kept going, I was like, what?
They were in a bunker. They were in a bunker for 26 years.
They're like, we're flying. Are we dead?
Flying because of victory.
This is great.
Yo.
The story is great.
Oh,
That's too much. It really is. It really is.
I have a question from the chat.
Yeah.
Emerald Wizard wanted to know what other games AJ has worked on besides Sea of Thieves, I think.
You guys are working on a bunch of stuff now, right?
So my career has been a bit of a weird one. So I started out at Jagex. So they're the guys that make RuneScape, but I was working on, they were doing a space MMO, and I worked on that for 3 years. And that got worked on for about 9 years and never came out.
Wow.
Yeah. But I left Jagex to go to, I was employee number 9 at a studio called Bossa. So Bossa are now known because they do like Surgeon Simulator and games like that. But when I joined, we were like the peak at Facebook games. So we made the first ever like real time PvP Facebook game. Which did really well. We won a BAFTA for it, but it didn't make any money because we didn't want to do, we didn't believe in evil free-to-play mechanics, and it turns out that you need those to make any money from a free-to-play game. So that was what I did next, and then I left Bossa and started Dlala. And first thing we did was we did a Windows 8 launch title called Janksy, which was a little mobile thing we made in 8 weeks because we agreed to do a Windows 8 launch title and didn't know that Windows 8 came out 9 weeks later.
Damn.
We then we then got incubated by Microsoft for just over a year, and we did a load of stuff there that they own that we're not allowed to talk about. And we did Overruled, which was like a 4-player really, really bad beat 'em up. You guys are beat 'em up fans, never play it. It's a brawler. It's a really the brawling is awful. It's the worst brawling you ever play. But the interesting mechanic was we based it off of a card game called Flux, and the idea was that like the rules were permanently changing. So like 1 second it was King of the Hill, then it was like a grab bag, then it was like a death match, and you could pick up these cards and change the rules of the game as you were playing. Honestly, though, super ugly and the worst brawling in any game ever.
I don't think I've ever heard of Dev Tell.
You don't to. But yeah, like, most of my career now, I mean, more than half my career now has been at running this studio. And a lot of the stuff we've done is like helped other people. So we worked on Sea of Thieves. We worked on The Escapists for Team 17.
Okay.
Oh, great game.
So yeah, but Battletoads is the biggest thing I've ever done in my career, and the biggest thing that Dlala has ever done as a studio.
That's awesome.
You guys are doing
Till the sequel.
Great job.
Yeah, and Battletoads versus Double Dragon featuring Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. So
that'll be the third
one. That's the
dream game,
crossover.
the dream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a new.
that's the dream.
That's new Smash Brothers.
Yeah, there you go. Done, man.
It can be done. See, they got all those licenses.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft got the money though. Yeah. You gotta talk to them.
Yeah.
Deep pockets.
I'm gonna call.
They need
Phil Spencer real
exclusives.
quick.
They need exclusives. They got rare. Let's do this.
AJ, if they
I'm just like they paid 7.5 billion for ZeniMax. Like I'll take Phil if you're listening, 200 million and you can buy Dlala. But
it's like it's yours. It's all yours.
It's chump change. It's chump change, man.
Yeah. It's like $5 to me.
It's like,
Yeah, they won't even notice. They're like, here you go.
it's like pocket lint.
Like, oh really?
That's
Okay.
funny.
It's like, is that all?
Yeah, that's it.
We're doing billions right now. What's going on?
Oh, shit.
Oh man.
So,
Well, I mean, that's all I got.
I got some more. Okay, I got endless questions, Age. I got endless. First quick one though. What was it like working with Lucy?
oh yeah, incredible. So this was the first project we'd done together. So Lucy got recommended to us by like a mutual friend. She came in and like we got her to do an art test. So like we always do paid art tests. Like if you're going to come work for us, prove you can do the art style, but we'll pay you for your time. And on her second day, one of her art tests is what became Brucey in game. You know, the orange guy that jumps and jumps. So that was literally from her art test.
Oh shit!
And I loved it. She nailed the style, loved her stuff. She's a fantastic person, and like she did a load of stuff for us in a week. And I sent it over to Mike Dietz and was like, "Hey, can you give us notes?" And like it was her stuff and another artist's, and the other artist who was technically more experienced came back with loads of notes. And then on Lucy's stuff, Mike just wrote like no notes needed.
Wow.
She's saying that, then I'm just like, you know, whatever. And she just became amazing, and it was like originally a short-term contract that ended up being like the whole project. And
Wow.
as I accidentally outed yesterday when I didn't realise it, she's actually art director on our new project now. So like we're still working together. She's an incredible person. Like, I've really struggled my entire career, at least definitely for Dlala, to find myself like an art director that like is the right fit for me and the right fit for us, and she is 100% that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
She's great.
she's great. Like there's not many that come like her with like her attitude, her skill set, and also just like, you know, with contractors, we like to try and treat everyone like a full timer, but you know, she put in her own. I mean, she's away for her wedding at the moment, and she's still logging in every day to do daily calls, even though I keep telling her not to. Like, she's fantastic.
Wow.
That's great. And Rare, like, how much creative control did you guys have over Battletoads? Did Rare kind of like stand out of the way and let you do what you guys wanted to do, or were they like, you know, tightening the purse strings and said, no, you can't do this, can't do that? Were they happy with most of the stuff, or how was the freedom? What's the
Yeah, I mean, basically what you see is effectively unfiltered Dlala. Like they didn't try to interfere at all.
Okay.
Dlala and Rare had conversations combined with Microsoft to try and land where we were going to come in terms of content. So like we got a much lower rating than we expected. Like, you know, we ended up with a PEGI 7, I think an E10 plus out in the States, I think. And that was actually the certificate we've always had, but we actually had another cut of the game that was a little bit more like, there were some jokes that I got in that I was like, I'm not sure how I've got these through, and then they got right at the end. Like, there was at least one joke where I was like, there's no way this is getting in the game, and I thought I'd got it in, and then right at the last second, like I got the call, and it was like, hey, someone's just pointed out this joke. Does this mean what I think it means? And I was like, no. And hey, we haven't told you what we think it means. And I was like, but yeah, the relationship was very incredible. I still talk to like Paul Cunningham, who was like my external, like our producer there. I talk to him every day still. But yeah, they really did let us just kind of go wild, and they gave us notes, but like we got very, very little in terms of like, you need to make this change. It was always more like, hey, these are our thoughts. Can we have a conversation? And like, if I spoke to them and I was like, actually, like, these choices have been made for this reason, and I explained it more like 9.5 out of 10 times, they'd be like, cool, yeah, we understand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen Rich step in to a lot of the games they've been doing lately. After Microsoft bought them.
Well, let them do. Let everyone else do the work, man.
Like, you guys just do what you guys
do it.
For real.
Yeah, they need that.
But yeah, it's good. It's good that they didn't step in as much, because it's a flawless project.
I love it. Yeah, we all love the game.
Yeah, from the beginning, like when they started playing the Battletoads theme, like when it started, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in this.
Yeah,
I'm in this.
Now, AJ, I think my final question for the game.
I do have a quick one.
Go ahead.
If you have a final. How hard was it to make it 3 players, like, rather than, you know, because a lot of people who rated the game and did give it, like, what they did, they played it 1 player, and it's a different game when you play it 1 player versus 3 players. And obviously the other games were 2 players, and arcade it was 3, right?
Yeah, arcade was 3.
Yeah.
So how hard is it to balance the game that way? And, you know, did you have any problems with it?
Yeah, it's super hard, especially at the end. Like after the lockdown hit in, it meant that like the last few months we couldn't actually play it in the same room as each other.
Shit.
And as everyone knows by now, I deliberately didn't put online co-op in because I predicted a pandemic and wanted the world to hate me. It was really difficult. So like, not to get too airy fairy, but like conceptually, I always wanted all the Toads were always all going to be there, which is why we did like the Marvel Capcom like tagging inspired mechanic. Because I didn't want to have like 3 versions of the story, and I didn't want it, like, I always wanted you to feel like all the Toads were always there and available. But yeah, the 3-player stuff was really interesting. Like, obviously, like in the beat 'em up stuff, like there's 3 characters, and all I really did, I think, in terms of the balance for that, and I'm trying to remember myself now, was I tweaked kind of like enemy healths a little bit and like your health, but really what you're playing there is very similar to the 1-player game. Whereas in obviously the space levels, like, 1 of you is flying and 2 of you are shooting, and like I didn't want to just do like, hey, let's just have 3 spaceships. I really wanted it to be like, hey, you know, you've got to work together to do this. But you know, looking back now, and when we do Battletoads versus Double Dragon featuring Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, you know, I really like to do more with the multiplayer. There's like, you know, I'd like to do like team finishing maneuvers and stuff like this. There's more stuff I would do utilizing the team. But you know, yeah, it's weird, man. Like, it is, the game does play so different, 1-player and 2-player, 3-player. And like it's weird that like the approach we almost took based on our time scale and our budget was like, okay, well, where can we get like passive teamwork? So like in Turbo Bike, like in To the Queen, for instance, like there's no teamwork mechanics, but naturally what we found after E3 was like, if you were playing it multiplayer, 2 of you crashed and it left 1, you were all cheering that 1 guy on. You were like, don't you fucking crash. Get to the checkpoint. And like, so we tried to find where we could make those moments where like the teamwork became actually about being in the room together as opposed to just doing mechanics in the game. And then there was obviously, there's stuff that was different, like the hacking puzzles. all had 1, 2, and 3 player versions, and they're all different. And then cool. So it was a real mixture, and it's something I really think we could build on for the next one if we ever were to do it. But yeah, it was definitely one of the interesting challenges of making the game.
Awesome.
Definitely felt that cheering on.
Is a 3-player finishing move? Are they gonna do like the Shields power bomb?
Oh, that would be sick.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Big back to the Attitude Era as well, and like the Dudleys are going to come and pull out a table.
One of the toads would morph into a table.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Look, he's trying to get himself a designer credit right now.
I mean,
it's like, yo, just take it. Don't even
come
put
for
my
the
name.
very small fee of free. So.
That's funny. And AJ, I know you were saying earlier in the podcast, you're talking about the feedback you guys received after the first trailer. It was hard on the team because it was very, very negative. Now that the game is out and there's been a lot of reviews and a lot of feedback about it, have you read any articles or seen any video reviews on the game? What's called the mixed opinions that have been out there. Do you agree with some of the criticisms and some of the high points that people liked? What is your thoughts, or how do you reflect on the feedback post production now that the game is out?
Yeah, I noticed a trend where anyone who was really smart gave us a 9 or a 10. So when the game came out, we made like a Slack channel which was like, hey, this we're just going to put anything that's like a 75 or above, so 7.5 or above. And I would then go through and I'd check all the scores and I'd dump them in there so that the team had the option of like, hey, if I want to read some nice stuff about what we did, we can go to this channel. If they want to go on the web and have a look themselves, that's their choice. But I didn't want those people that were just kind of wanting to feel good to have to go through the dredge. And I was one of those people to an extent. So up until last week or the week before last, I would open a review, scroll down to the bottom, look at the score. If it was positive, like if it was like a 7 or above, I'd put it in my spreadsheet and that was it. And then the exceptions I made to that was Yahtzee did his 0 punctuation video. And obviously I knew he was going to rip us a new arsehole, so I had to watch that. And he's given me, I have asked Microsoft if they ever do a box product to put the quote on, which was, if you don't hold down the run button, it feels like dragging hairy testicles across a Velcro carpet. And I was like, can that be our box quote? And Microsoft weren't too on board with that.
Damn,
but like that's his thing. Like I knew he's hateful, so I knew I found that funny. And like I read Marty Silver, like a journalist called Marty Silver, who famously hates Battletoads. Like he wrote an article saying how much he loved our game.
Oh wow!
Wow!
That's awesome.
Besides that, all I've really done review-wise is I've looked at the scores, and then anything that's positive, I've tried to take the press quotes for us to use on our website. But yeah, like it's the same reason I haven't played the game since it launched. Is like I can't do anything about it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I play it and I see flaws, I can't do anything. So like, if I read these reviews, like. So I've got people that have read them and they've said to me, hey, like Edge gave us a 4 and that was horrible because that came out late, so it dragged our Metacritic score down. And I was like, jeez. When I go on Metacritic, like we've still got like something like 60% of our reviews are all positive. So like, the game is a success in my eyes. Like, we've had a great number of players and like the reviews overall, like we've had much more positives than we have negatives. In the way I view things as a consumer is like, if you score something below a 6, you're basically saying like the game hasn't been made well. And for me, like I've played that game hundreds of times and I know that my team has made a game that shouldn't be scoring below a 6. So when I see like some dude give us a 4 out of 10 and then somebody's like, yeah, like he was really angry because you didn't just do it as a beat 'em up. And I'm like, well, God, like, is this what journalism is now? Like,
exactly.
You're supposed to rate the game as it is. You know,
Yeah.
is it fun? Did you enjoy it? Not what you wish it to be.
Yeah, what you prefer.
You
And
know?
if you're not a fan of the type of game,
Don't play it.
Don't review it.
Yeah,
or try not to put that guy on the review team for that game.
Yeah,
We know
I
what
play nothing but role players, but this game gets a 2 because it's not a role player.
That's like having
that's
me.
not a review.
That's like me rating a first-person shooter. I don't like first-person shooters. So why are you gonna put that in front of me?
You rate what's there, not what you wish it to be. I wish Trials of Mana, which was 3 players.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I wish it was, but I played the demo and it's awesome. I can't trash the quality of the game because it's great. I just wish it was 3 players.
You didn't give it a 3 because it's not 3 players?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other thing for us, right? Like it was, we had the conversation before the embargo lifted, and we were like, "Do you think people are going to rate us down for not having online?" And I was like, "Well, do they rate games down for not having a feature?" Like, and then our reviews came out, and then we'd get like a great review, and then like in the negatives, it would be like, "Yeah, we marked this down a point because there was no online co-op." And I was sitting there, and I was like, if we'd come out first, would Streets of Rage got marked down for not having animated cutscenes? Like,
yeah, like
I don't understand how this works. Like, I understand why people are unhappy, but like, but that's what journalism is, and like, people love it for that reason. But like, how can I have a game where we literally have a 10 out of 10 score from one publication and a 4 out of 10? Like, that's weird. Like, how is that journalism? Like, that's just like, as consumers, like you guys, right? Like, if you went on there and somebody was like, here's 2 Battletoads reviews, and somebody was like, it's 10 out of 10, and someone was like, it's 4 out of 10,
like,
you can't make a decision based on that. Like,
Hopefully they read the review and not just look at the number.
Yeah,
you gotta get the
most
right
people
person.
just look at the number. That's why I have
But
a
they'll
problem
have
with that.
like you said, they'll say the game is amazing.
Right.
4.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, huh?
the number's arbitrary. I think
like that for me, where they were like, I was reading the press quote, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like, Battletoads is great. It's the best one in the franchise. Really enjoy. 6 out of 10, and I was like, what?
What the fuck?
Like that's just not translated.
It is
properly.
definitely the best in the franchise.
Easily.
right.
After
Easily.
like the second stage, it was the best.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's easily the best. The best Battletoads game. And Battletoads, they're good quality games. You know, they're great games. Battle Maniacs was okay, but the first one was great. Double Dragon
Battletoads
one was
one
great.
makes me cry. That's not the type of game I
It's-
want to play right now.
It's a good game.
The first
It's like-
game
it's-
makes me want to cry.
It's hard, but it's a well-made game. You know.
The nostalgia changes that game for me.
Yeah, that Battletoads one is it's pretty rough.
Very hard.
But in the event, there is a sequel to this one. You have to come back on here and reveal it. And yeah, that's it, man.
And we'll do voiceovers.
Revealed a massive bit of the plot anyway, so I mean,
We gotta see Professor T. Bird. He's
Yeah,
gotta make
man.
an appearance in the second one.
Like
That's-
They already said it could be a
the
possibility.
day of that is announced, we gotta have you back on, man. We have to have you back on.
Yes.
yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Or to talk wrestling.
Yeah. You guys doing a wrestling game? What's good?
Well, I heard there was an AEW game being made, and Kenny Omega, he said you'd like to do something like that, and you got the
Hey,
moves.
I heard about that
So if
too.
it had that animation,
Hey.
that
would
was,
be a good game.
it was upsetting to me when they announced, like when it started leaking, they'd done that, because I had been having the conversation with my agent where I was like, look, I know it's not really the logical next step, but can we approach AEW and see if they want to do a wrestling game? And then obviously they announced like the trademarks had been trademarked, and I was like, all those guys are massive gaming fans as well, right? Like Omega's a massive kind of fighting game fan, and Cody's a massive fan. So yeah.
well,
So
WWE's in trouble with their game, so maybe you can step in and take over for them.
Yeah, right.
Help them out.
look, the problem is, and this sounds really hypocritical considering I just did what I did with Battletoads, but all I want from a WWE game is No Mercy. Like,
Yeah! This is the guy. This is our lost brother. I think this is our lost brother.
No
I think.
mercy.
Nah, he's an honorary member. He needs to just be part of the show.
No,
You said the right thing
You
there.
can come in anytime you want, man.
Yeah.
You're always
Open
welcome.
door policy.
Yes.
absolutely.
There's literally nothing more hypocritical that I could say. I've just sat here and said people rated us down because they wanted Battletoads Arcade, and then I'm sat here going, just give me No Mercy.
Well, that's different. That's different.
Screw those people.
Yeah,
Screw those
screw
people.
them, man.
Don't listen to
Screw them. We're on your side.
That's too funny.
Anytime AJ wants to randomly just call us on Skype while we're on, go ahead, just randomly
anytime,
call us.
Open door policy.
You're on the show. Don't worry.
Yes, definitely.
We have 2 guests.
We are
Whatever you want.
Well, we gotta have like a theme, Battle of the Beards with John Donadio.
That would be a hell of a
that's a
luxurious
battle.
beard.
Battle of the Beards.
I was just going to say, don't get me on the same episode with Tommy Tallarico because you guys will just not get a word in if it's just us telling stories the whole time.
Tommy can talk.
Oh, Tommy's a
Tommy
talker.
can talk.
Yes,
Him
and Victor Lucas.
Him and Vic can talk.
That's
why they got the show.
We're just watching them, just like, I just want to see him talk.
Yeah. We're the audience, pretty much.
If you guys get the chance, you should talk to Tommy about trying to get like Mike and Ed on because whenever I go out to the States, like, and I meet up with Mike and Ed, I'll take them out for dinner and then just ask them to tell me stories because obviously, like, besides after they did Earthworm Jim and they did the Neverhood and like the way they got the Neverhood was literally Steven Spielberg wanted to get into games, asked those guys like, hey, you know, you did Earthworm Jim, what would you want to do to make a game? And they were literally like, well, buy us a warehouse, fill it full of clay, and we want to do claymation. And like they said it off like semi as a joke, and Spielberg was like, yeah, okay. And like
That's insane.
I remember Neverhood.
in a warehouse, all the sets were hand built, all the claymation,
Wow.
those guys have got some awesome stories.
Wow.
Hey, we'll have to look into getting
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, you put them on the list.
Got some ideas going on.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Just tune in when we do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, it's been great.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
And like we said, anytime you want to come back on, we'll have you back.
More than welcome.
Yes. Thank you for reviving Battletoads.
Yes,
We've been waiting
seriously.
for that. It's definitely been a series we wanted to see for the longest.
Absolutely.
And it's been rumored for the greater part of more than a decade.
There's a poster back there of them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's tiny, but
Yeah,
it's
you
all right.
can't
It's all
see
right.
it. I don't know if you can see it
Yeah.
on camera, but yeah.
Probably not.
I like the new art style better.
We gotta get a
that's
new
the older
poster
one,
now.
but yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get a new Battletoads.
we gotta get a new
poster.
Battletoads poster.
And
Yeah.
he's made new memories. They gotta get new pictures of them.
Yeah.
No, but you guys did Dlala Studios. You guys did an awesome job on the new Battletoads game, and everybody should play it. You know, it's just really everybody should play it. If you remotely heard of Battletoads or interested in it, definitely give this game a shot. It's awesome.
See,
Instant
that's
fun.
a good review. See, that's what I like reviews like that. Like
Yeah.
if you like, challenging games, so like co-op games. That's Battletoads is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Absolutely.
And what I'm just doing now, guys, is I've just dropped you some Xbox codes if you want to give them away for the game.
Oh, sweet.
There you go.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Now in your
nice.
device,
Perfect.
there should be 6 codes there for they're Xbox One ones for the game.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yes,
We're
we
gonna have
do.
some
Get some
some
contests
contests
going.
going.
Get some
too.
contests.
I mean,
yes.
could we give one away right now?
Oh,
Maybe. Well, you're monitoring the chat, so you let us
Oh,
know.
we got some people.
Well, because Emerald Wizard said that he wanted the game, so like, if we have the code, we can probably just give it to him.
A surprise giveaway.
Actually, he was on the stream yesterday.
And
so-
he's always showing us love.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, you know
Emerald,
what?
are you still in the chat?
If you're still in the chat,
If he's not there, he don't get one.
if you're still in,
Emerald, if you have Xbox One, we can get you a code.
Yeah.
Just DM us on Instagram and we'll hook you up.
yes.
Tell you what, I'll go one step better as well, and I'll send you 6 Steam codes as well, just in case you've used
Oh, excellent.
Steam.
Oh,
16,
All right.
But he
6
has to-
Xbox
that's
One.
That's
So
awesome.
your
you got a
choice.
PC or an Xbox?
We'll be having Xbox. We'll be having Battletoads
He
giveaways for
said,
the
yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, he's still here.
Okay, hold on. He's still there.
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay, he's
Emerald
gonna
is still here.
answer this one question: which Battletoad was never kidnapped?
Oh.
Never
Now
kidnapped.
you don't win now. Unless you get this
If you
right.
could answer that, which Battletoad was never kidnapped
even
in
answer
any
that.
game?
Took me a
made
second, but I know.
For any system,
I know.
I can't even.
any
answer.
console.
He's
Who
sitting
was
there
your
now,
friend?
and he's like, "Motherfucker, I just came back for a free code."
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Why you gotta give me a question, you asshole?
The guy follows us and shit. You're like, fuck this guy.
I thought you were
Make
gonna
sure
say,
you don't
what
get
do
it.
you have, Steam or Xbox? No,
Yeah.
that's not the question.
Yeah, that was.
That's not the question. Which Battletoad was never kidnapped?
I kind of already told him to get it.
Yeah, man.
You should save that question for
We'll
someone
save it for somebody
who
else
wants to win it
Emma,
later.
Give it to
Emma Wizard has won
All right,
the code.
He's earned it.
regardless
He's earned.
of the question.
He shows a lot of
Yo,
support.
you can put the phone down, Emerald Wizard. You don't have to look it up. You don't gotta look it up. We got you, man. We got you. Googling like, she's like, hold on, this motherfucker. How did you know?
Just tell us which code you want. That's all.
Yeah,
you gotta
Steam
do.
or Xbox One.
Yes, let us know.
There we go. I've been overruled.
He said he never played it. He wants to play it. So yeah, he got you. He got you.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we got you, bro.
New generation of Battletoad levels.
Thank you for that, AJ.
Yeah,
Thank you
Yes.
so much, and thank you for your time.
It's
Yeah,
very
man.
late over there. We really appreciate you staying up with us. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot what time it actually is.
Hell yes.
The highlight for me was still the 45 minutes with the crackly microphone before we started.
Yeah.
You guys didn't get to hear that. Like,
Yeah,
no,
they didn't hear it.
I felt so bad though. Like my girlfriend's listening, and I was messaging her. She was like, "How did sound check go?" And I was like, "These dudes literally asked me to do a sound check on Monday night," and I was like, "I'm too tired. Can't thinking it was just going to be turning up and going mic check 1 2, and then the trauma kicked in, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like
it's never that easy.
It's funny because I thought the same thing as it was going on. I'm like, oh shit, man, this is why we have the sound
Well,
check
if we,
up,
you know what, if we did it Monday, it would have still happened again today.
It would have.
Yeah,
Definitely
worse.
would have.
It
It
would
definitely
probably
would have.
happen, yeah.
And then I would have been mad. I would have been paid up on Monday for a sound
We
check.
would've
God damn it.
We would have had 10 minutes. We would have had 10 minutes to figure it out, and that
Yes.
would have been awful.
Panic.
Yes.
So it's better it worked out this way. 'Cause,
Yeah.
audience-wise, they didn't hear none of that.
Nobody knew. We should record it next time and just
Behind the scenes is always hilarious. It's always a party. It's always a party.
But yeah, successful show. You're awesome.
Yes,
Thanks
definitely.
again.
Hell yeah,
all the
man.
time.
Get some sleep, sir.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to part 2 with Battletoads 2.
Yes.
Double
For
Dragons
Battletoads
and
versus
Ninja Turtles.
versus Teenage Mutants.
Buck your hair.
Buck your hair, yes.
When the righteous indignation, except for the hit.
Stop that! Stop that! No! No! You guys, no!
I remember it all.
See you later.
Have a good one, AJ.
Guy, man.
That's how you got to
You can't be busting out in song.
Wow.
That's awful.
All
some hard
right.
words.
Well, he was singing G.I. Joe and you guys were playing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I had to cut him off.
Yeah. But Chuck, you getting all the.
He's got it.
I'm getting all of his info. I think he has
said
the same
Xbox
name
One.
on IG.
All
He
right,
said
well.
Xbox One to be good.
Well, we'll
Guys,
see,
I'm not a psychic or anything. All right, but I know for a fact they're working on part 2. I know it.
You don't know.
How much you want to bet?
I could tell.
You don't.
You want to bet?
He didn't
Money?
want. I could tell. I
He will bet you money.
I was looking at his face the whole time
How much?
when he was
And
talking
Lucy's
about the
lead
T-Bird
director of the project.
That's
Yep,
true.
and he was talking about T-Bird, the whole story. No, you ain't gonna get rid of that story. Part 2 is happening. Trust me.
How much you want to bet?
And Rare, come
It'll be
on,
awesome.
man. You know, if you're watching this podcast, you're all about a sequel.
It'll be 120 frames per second.
What? I'm sorry. What was it?
What was
What was that?
120 what?
120.
120 frames per second.
No, you did not. You did not say that. You said
I
100.
was my hand was here.
120.
But you know how Ori is 120 frames on the new systems. Watch and see.
No, it was a dope podcast. That was fun, man.
Yep.
That was
fun, man.
fun.
That was super dope.
That was
Yeah, it was
excellent.
But
I liked hearing the story about how that came about.
Definitely,
And,
man.
you know,
Not having anything.
and he
Been
has
pitching that
and he
for
has a love
years.
and a passion for Battletoads, and that's you can
could
see
tell.
it in the game. You can
Yes.
see it in
Yeah,
the
You
game.
could tell.
That's when you know it's great.
Yes.
Love
You
it.
cannot have
And-
passion for that.
And the
Nope.
team,
Team,
talent.
Team
the
knew all
squad,
about it.
the squad from the voice actors, the art,
the writers,
The
the writer,
the writers.
everyone is just. It's not even though they were good. No, they were
Nah, that's
everybody.
voice actors.
all stars.
That's a dream team.
That isn't. Yo, you
And
don't
some
break
people-
that up.
And some people didn't even work on like they
didn't
haven't
even do
made a
games.
game.
They got the right people though.
It's amazing, man.
That's why it was so different.
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Second you turn it on, you're like, "What? This is not. This is different."
Yep.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, we got some codes. So
Yeah.
Yeah, be on the
We're
lookout.
gonna have some contests.
We still got other codes
Yeah.
too, so
And
we
if
still
you
gotta
have-
just start doing those.
If you have
contests.
Game Pass, you can. It's on there. So
yeah,
That's true.
and you know, we gotta ask that question on the fly. So if you don't got the answer, you know, we're gonna give you like 30 seconds. So if you watch this one, be prepared with that
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
and
We
You
got
might
some-
get a code.
Exactly.
random questions.
and also if you watch any of our other streams because we have our schedule right up here. We got Tetris Tuesdays with me, yours truly. Every Wednesday we have our video game podcast
With all of
at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time,
right now.
and also the audio podcast, which is also available on all the audio podcasting services.
Bang, bang.
Then after that, we have Throwback Thursdays
Throwback,
with
y'all.
Sticks
Throwback.
and Fighter Fridays with Big Choco. Yeah. At 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh yeah.
Feeling froggy, then leap.
Damn, man. They're not frogs, they're toads. Hey.
But you know what? We might even do a giveaway on one of our streams. The
Might
only way to
happen.
do so is to follow us on all our social media so you can keep in the loop.
And you don't know which show either, so you gotta watch all.
Yeah.
If you want to win.
Yeah.
I can
and
tell
you
you which one it's gonna be on. If you watch my show, I'll tell you which one it's gonna be on.
You should probably set a reminder. Turn on your notifications, subscribe, all that.
Yeah,
good
hit
stuff.
that.
Yeah, ring that bell.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
I
you know
ain't
what?
no bell.
You know you want to.
But you know what? If you're watching this live right now, we
Hit that like
have
button.
awesome guests coming up next week. Hit that like button. Share the video with a friend if you like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody share it.
And until next week, y'all. Peace.
We out, y'all. Bing bong.
Later.
Been a pleasure.